Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night. That's right, and I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the show. We got a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to be talking about our favorite comic books of last week. We'll be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week, including the DC Comics sneak peek. I've read Dark Crisis. I've read Aquaman Andromeda. Andromeda? What? I read those, and we're going to be talking about them. We got a Kung Fu movie review guided by Sifu Bullseye Bob. That's right, Shaolin versus Llama. We got Marvel in the 80s, some Barry Windsor Smith goodness. Top 5 movies of 2005. We're totally talking Turtles tonight as well. And a little bit of show and tell, all that and more. And even though we have a grandiose plan, inspired, some might say, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So get them in right now. I will say this, you should join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you should follow Pop Culture Philosophers there, as well as on Instagram, where I do my Wednesday night show at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, Comics and Karaoke with Rockin Robbie. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can support us over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. Ganja Bars Medium Station, where you at? And a pop, pop, boom to everybody here. Thank you so much. But it is just support enough. Being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, participating in the conversation. And yes, Spilio, I see that. Thank you so much. That's a very generous and gracious super chat from Spilio. Says, for all you do, brother, love you. Well, I love you too. Thank you so much. Fueling that Rockin Robbie live tour. You are far too kind, Spilio, and we will probably elongate that celebration before we really get started here, but I just want to jump into the chat and see what's up. We got the artist formerly known as Jesse Say What in the house. What is up? Cardstock Variant, Nova 69, Rogue Collecting, Entropy in Comics, Evil Face Bass says, Station Bro, past that. Love you guys. I'm hitting Strawberry Diesel. I don't know. They don't even tell me what it is anymore. We got Billy in the house looking good. Must be doing them deadlifts, bruh. I'm glad you're keeping up with it. Spilio, of course, with that very generous donation. Thank you so much. Our Ariaga's in the house. Station good people. Eric the Stash is in the house. Big Herm is in the house. Yo, great show tonight. Didn't miss of course, I missed the very last few minutes, but fantastic show. I haven't even watched Ready to Rumble in so long, and y'all took me back there, and my 2.5 initial rating that I probably would have given it bumped up to a 3. So y'all, that was a great show. I loved it. We got Fable in the house. Fable, great show. By the way, we are the official after party for the Blame Fable Tonight Show over at Instagram. That's right, Blame Fable on Instagram every Sunday. That starts at 5 p.m. Central Time. Who else we got in here? Death Rattles in the house. Bye, Met. I forgot how to say your name already. What's up? Trade Paper Dad is in the house. How is everybody doing? Also, check out popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. Not so much blogs, but we do have podcasts again, finally. Since we've returned to podcasting, we have recorded 3 episodes, released 2. So this is how it works. The James Bond episode is available right now on iTunes and on our website. You can go there directly to popculturephilosophers.com, download it there if you feel necessary. The second episode back, which is episode 49, Comic Book Villains, that one's there. So those are 2 great episodes, all about James Bond movies, and then one all about comic book villains. We have recorded the next podcast, which is Mel Brooks, all about his films and his career and his legacy, and it was a great show. Me, Jelani, Dashing Drew, and of course Hammer Time Holshe was there, and that is available right now at patreon.com/PCP to all levels of support from $1 up. And you can check not just the unedited recording of the podcast, it's a video. It's the only way to get the video version of the podcast is through patreon.com/PCP. We got Jim Mint in the house. Pop. Boom. How are you doing, Jim? Jim's on his way about to be moving or something. Where are you? California or something like that, I think. Maybe it was Washington. I don't remember. But glad to see you here, buddy. I hope you're ready for the crazy month you're about to have. I'm sure you are, because you are nothing but prepared and hustling all the time, bro. We got Mark in the house. Mark from Geeks and Leech will be joining us tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night, which is 8 p.m. Central Time here. What time is it there in the UK, in England, where you're at? Like where? In merry old England, where, no offense to anybody from England, obviously. I love British films. I love British music. My favorite band is Oasis, and I love British film. I'm trying to think of a British film right now. Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels. This is Guy Ritchie. Anyway, what time is it going to be there, Mark? How about them The Boys Omnibus? Yeah, are they kickstarting that right now or something? Or crowdfunding it or something like that? I don't remember. You know, The Boys was one of those things that, I don't know, man. When I first started reading The Boys was when it was first releasing. And I was like, you know what, Garth Ennis, I get it. You don't really like superheroes. And I dropped out of it and I never went back. And I should definitely go back. You would think, since I do work with Dynamite, that I should read one of their perennial books by an amazing creative team that I really respect that has a smash hit TV show. You think I would be more up to date on it, but I'm not. But yeah, I heard they're doing the omnibuses, the omnibuy, so that's cool. Currently 1 a.m., so it's going to be 2 a.m. in the morning for Mark when we start PCP Movie Night tomorrow night. Speaking of that, tomorrow night is PCP Movie Night. We're talking about Gross Point Blank. This is Crew's Choice. This is the Crew's Choice portion of the year. And this was John Hammertime Holshoe's pick, Gross Point Blank. I revisited it a few nights ago. And oh my God, I cannot wait to talk about that movie. Don't forget the Rockin Robbie 2022 tour is coming to a town near you. We're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina for Heroes Con on June 24th and 25th. That's like That's coming up soon, like very soon. We're very excited to be there. It's going to be a great show. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, Gross Point Blank on PCP Movie Night will be me, Jelani, Brooks, Mark from Geeks Unleashed, and of course, John Hammertime Holshoe, because this was his pick. Thursday evening on the show at 6 p.m. Central Time, join us for a conversation with Rachel Pollack and Joe Corallo. Obviously, Joe Corallo, you know him, friend of the show. Rachel Pollack is a very successful writer. She's written many books, like fiction books, as well as books on the tarot, and she's an expert on the tarot pretty much, and she's got a new book. She was also the writer who took over Doom Patrol for a celebrated run right after Grant Morrison left the title. But Rachel and Joe have a new book called Never Ending Party that is releasing on Tuesday on Comixology Originals. It's all about partying, magic, regret. It sounds right up my alley. So join us for a live conversation. That will be 6 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. Dylan's Horror Show rolls on through Saturday. We're going to be talking about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. If this sounds like you have deja vu, you would not be mistaken in that. That's right. We had to skip last night for unforeseen, or should I say foreseen circumstances. But this upcoming Saturday night, we're doing Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Very excited to dive into that movie. How is everybody doing? Yeah, I know, Jim. I got to get with it. If Mark's going with Snatch and Layer Cake, too. You're taking the Guy Ritchie route as well. Because Layer Cake was it at least produced by Guy Ritchie? I know it was Matthew Vaughn. Maybe Guy Ritchie had nothing to do with that one. I like Layer Cake. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Taki's in the house. What is up? Spelio says, Minnie Driver is my kryptonite. Yeah, I don't know, man. Somehow I think Minnie Driver got a bad name or something at some point, like, and just disappeared. I don't know. And I love Good Will Hunting. I love her in that movie. But I never thought of her as, like, a dime. But in this movie, she's a dime. Pop, pop, boom. That's right, man. When you know how we do it around here in the PCP Army, man, we snap, crackle, pop, pop, boom. Ah. That's how we do it. And once again, Spilio, thank you so much for that very generous super chat, helping keep the lights on, keeping what we're doing. Basically, you're keeping StreamYard funded. You're keeping my where I make my thumbnails is just online. You're paying for that. So thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it. And my Paramount Plus subscription. Let's just donate. Let's just say that's a part of it. But it's all PCP related. Thank you so much. Now, we really do appreciate the support from everybody just being here, liking, sharing, subscribing. What do y'all want to talk about? I'll go ahead and kick us off tonight with the first official bit that we do here. And what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about Obi-Wan? I've only watched the first episode of the new season of Stranger Things, but I'm caught up on Obi-Wan. We got Joey Q News. What do you want to talk about? And while you guys are getting in your comments, your questions, your thoughts, and your concerns, we're going to be doing the bit we inherited from Bueller and Bullseye. Let's do it. It's time for First Five. And for the first five, we're doing Blu-rays. We're going through my Blu-ray collection. We are in the S's, so that means we're nearing the end. We're still going to be doing this all fucking year. Anyway, we left off in the S's somewhere around there. Was it Scream? I don't remember, but we are now at Scrooged. Scrooged is one of my favorite holiday movies. It goes in and out of my top 5 for holiday movies, but I do love it, and we covered it last holiday season on PCP Movie Night. Then we got Serenity. I do have Firefly, so of course I have Serenity. It's a cool movie, but it is just kind of a compressed version of what 5 seasons of Firefly should have been and could have been, but it never was. And it never was. And I don't want it to happen again. Like, we got to get over this. We've been burned by Fox and Joss Whedon before, but I do like Firefly and I do like Serenity. But it's been forever since I revisited. Maybe I should. There was a point where the fandom kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because every fucking fan article was about, we should bring back Firefly. And well, I used to take personal offense to that because I was there when Firefly was coming out and nobody else was. Me and Jillian were watching that shit. Nobody else watched that. Anyway, moving on. Serpent and the Rainbow. I'm glad that it got popular afterwards. All right, Serpent and the Rainbow, a fantastic movie. Bill Pullman, but directed by Wes Craven, one of my favorite horror directors. We will be focusing Horror Fest a lot on Wes Craven this year, so be ready for that. Then we got Seven Samurai. We covered this on the channel in November, well, with Bullseye Bob, actually. It's one of my favorite movies. This movie is brilliant. To me, it's the best long movie. Like, it's a long movie that would make an excellent TV show. In fact, they did an anime adaptation that was fantastic called Samurai 7. Totally worth it. I'm not an anime expert, but I do love that one. But Seven Samurai is a brilliant film. If you've never seen it, you must see this film once in your life. Like, I've been thinking all the time about writing a book, 25 movies you must read before you die, and why. Basically, just 25 essays. Maybe I should do a video series, because I don't know if I could write it. But then we're going to wrap up the first 5 with Shawshank Redemption. The best Stephen King adaptations into film are done by Frank Darabont. We're talking The Mist, we're talking The Green Mile, and we're talking The Shawshank Redemption. This movie is great. It holds a special place to my heart, because to me it's a story about kind of going through, it's a death and rebirth kind of story for me. And this movie holds a special place in my heart because there was a time where things looked dim and like I was in the hospital for over a week. It was pretty bad. But this was a movie that was kind of, I came back and I watched this movie and I don't know. I just really am emotionally tied to that movie more than I've ever been. And that has been your first five. I think we've hippened up the first 5 that we've inherited from Comics with Bueller. Glad to see that Comics with Bueller made it back, by the way. Bueller, I'm glad you made it back to the Northwest for Washington State Summer Con. They got a great lineup there. I wish I could be there. But we got Heroes Con, and I'm going to go to Heroes Con every goddamn year. That's the thing. Speaking of Heroes Con, apparently Circumstances is going to be there. And, yo, Circum's in the chat right now. What is up, my man? Fantastic show on Blame Fable. I watched it. Y'all are the best. By the way, I've been to Kauffman Stadium. I saw the Twins play the Royals. Royals beat the Twins 2-1. So that was pretty dope. My girlfriend at the time, her brother, lived in Kansas City. Actually, he lived in Lawrence. So we went there. We saw the Jayhawks, the college, and we went to the strips there and saw all the, where like, I guess it's not a strip. I don't know. It's like a strip of bars and shit for like college kids or something. But we went there and then we went into Kansas City and we saw the Kauffman Stadium. We went to a game. We had some barbecue. I had some brisket and it was delicious. So I would love to get back to Kansas City sometime. But I hear that he's going to be at Heroes Con. Bruh, yeah. We'll meet up. We'll plan that out, man. You follow me on IG, just send me a message, man. Let's plan out. Where are you going to be at some point? We'll hang out, man. We'll go around. What creators you want to see? Maybe we can pick some creators that we both want to go. We can go wait in fucking line. If you want to see John Mita Jr., it's going to be a long ass wait. I need some partners. That's going to be the longest goddamn line in the whole goddamn bit. But, man, John Romita Jr., Klaus Janson, Walt Simonson, and Weezy Simonson. Come on. We got, like, legends there. I'm so excited. Let's look at the chat. Reverse Amoeba, what's up? Guy Ritchie has been making good crime flicks again. The Gentleman was wonderful. Man, I haven't seen anything since after Rock and Roll, I don't think. Well, he did the Sherlock movies, right? Yeah, I guess I got to count those. I like the first Sherlock film. I haven't seen it since like it first. Like I never saw it in theater, but I was working at the movie stop when that happened and I watched it then and I enjoyed it. I was drinking a lot of Maker's Mark that night though. I do remember that vividly. I remember that night very vividly, actually. But good to hear. I really, Guy Ritchie hit me as an influence, like in the kind of stories and films I wanted to do before I decided that I would just half-ass my life and not do them. Ari August is Top Gun. I have not seen Top Gun yet. I really want to get to the theater and want to go, but nobody wants to go. I bet I should holler at Mike. I bet Mike wants to go. Mike, if you're watching this on the replay, you want to go. And by the way, if he pops up, let me know and remind me, and I'll be like, hey, man, let's go to Top Gun. Man, am I free Friday? I don't even know what's going on this week, bro. Oh, I think he wanted to go to a game this week. Anyway. Fable says, loved Scrooged. Hell yeah, man. I love that movie. Were you there for the PCP movie night? If not, don't worry, you can catch it on the replay in the holiday season. By the way, even if you've already seen it, around the holidays, you can always catch those videos, and it's always like watch them again. I watch them again sometimes. We got Verno in the house from the Cerebros. Verno, like many people today, got the official list of Action Fest, and immediately we had a couple shows. We've already had half of Action Fest fill up. I feel really bad because Hammer Time Holshoe's kind of like, he likes to think for a minute, so I need to start sending him the list beforehand. But we have some that have already filled up, and I'm really excited. We're not ready to announce the list yet, but we got some good ones, and we got a poll, so we're going to have to put that together. We'll be getting that together very soon. So, yeah, I sent out to most of the frequent panelists on PCP Movie Night, the Action Fest lineup. We got a great lineup. We got some great panelists lined up for it as well. And then following Action Fest is Horror Fest, and I know the entire lineup. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a baller-ass lineup. I honestly cannot think of anything on this list, and I got it on a few pages back in my notebook. I cannot think of anything on this list that I don't think people are going to like. Like, last year, I think I nailed it, except for apparently Funhouse. But I really feel like this year, come on. Come on, y'all. Jorm's in the house. Tune in. Rockin Robbie Live. Pop, pop, boom station. I missed Firefly. A lot of people did. There wasn't... Fox didn't help them when they put it up. William says, Legends and comics, but don't get no respect since we don't see them on any comic book company project. No respect, Legends. Walt Simonson just did a bit, and the Thor... But I get it. It's just backup stories and shit like that. I understand. And I don't like the coloring they did on the Walt Simonson bit in that Thor... was that the 650 or some shit like that? But you are right. You are right. But at the same time, they've had their day. A lot of them are happily kind of like in semi-retirement and do their own thing. Like Walt Simonson does Ragnarok when he feels like it, you know? But yeah, I still love and respect their work and still love to see new stuff from them. Hell yes, Spilio, I'm going to be at Heroes Con. These are the cons I'm going to be at this year. Let me find the graphic. The Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo has already come and gone, but we got Heroes Con, Memphis Comic Expo, and Scarefest. So I'll be North Carolina, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Memphis has got a great lineup too. So does Scarefest if you're a horror fan. That's one that one's like the most vacation-y of all of these. Because I ain't trying to do nothing there but be a fan. Heroes Con, I'm fortunate enough, I got a press pass, so that doesn't, I don't know if that gives me any kind of access aside from just getting there, but we got a great hotel room right there. We're going to be there with my homie Kevin Stokes. He's a professional in the industry. They're going to be friends of the show there, attending, like Doug Wagner and Tony Fleece, so I'm very excited. Last time I was there in 2019, I got recognized several times, and we had a great time at what I guess is called BarCon. So I'm looking forward to even amping that up even more this year. So Verno says the Action Fest lineup is fire, double fire. Double fire. Evil Face Bass says, let's talk about that sexy Freddy Krueger figure you have standing behind you with his shirt open and his chest out. Does it have nipples? If it did have nipples, they're all like distorted by these faces coming out. This is the NECA. What is it? Dream Warriors. I almost forgot because another fucking super generous. Jesus Christ. Anyway, this is the NECA Dream Warriors Freddy. That's the bit with all the pieces. One of these faces is Linnea Quigley. I don't remember which one it is, but I think it's the one up top. But they actually did this whole thing. If you should look this up on YouTube. But when the bit where he opens up his chest, and you see all the people coming out. They built that shit live, and it was up there. And like Linnea Quigley is one of them. So I thought that was cool. John Spilio with a very generous super chat. Thank you so much. Here is for you, to you for Heroes Con. Just do me a favor. First round on me. You know it's Spilio. First round will be on you. Thank you. So I just kicked my cat who's at my feet. Didn't realize she was still there. Thank you so much, bruh. Dude, you're beyond generous tonight. Wow. You have officially, I think, made this the most successful Rockin' Robbie Live ever. Definitely of the year, but probably ever. Thank you so much. That's if you determine success by like financial shit. That doesn't matter. What the fuck? Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm just blown the fuck away. I cannot believe the love we get from you out there in the chat, especially you, Spilio. Thank you so much. We really, goddamn, thank you. Tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy, Hellboy. He came to this earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had a sex with a demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit. And he knows that he's gay. I see you said it. Fuck, I forgot the words. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz and an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. BPRD. See, I saw that Jorm's like, you know the words, because I did almost fuck it up at the beginning, and then I did fuck it up, so thank you for that. I take the blame. Blame Robbie. Spilio, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Really, really do. Verno says, I have just realized how much I missed this. I am out of practice. I did it last week. I'm out of practice. I need to practice. We'll do it every time there's Super Chat tonight, but don't worry about it, y'all. Y'all good, but if anybody wants to, we'll do a Hellboy song again. Thank you, Spilio. I love you too, man. Seriously. And I appreciate you always being there on the show on the EXP that I do every Monday with Dynamic Forces. I have a lot of fun doing that show. Rex and John, they got me a goddamn spam connoisseur now. I keep a can of spam near me at all times when I'm streaming in case I have to do the spam bit. I appreciate everything, John. And I know that I have something I think coming that you bought for me, so I appreciate that as well. It hasn't gotten here yet, but I appreciate that. I can't wait to show that off. Hey, we got Bob in the house. Bullseye Bob. Seafood Bullseye Bob is here tonight because later on tonight we're talking about Shaolin versus Llama. It's on his top 5 kung fu films of all time. Why? Maybe you'll find out what I think. Spam is good for that quick breakfast. It's just great. I have when I first started doing the show on the EXP, we started just I think it may have been the first or second episode. We're talking about fucking spam. And I'm like, I'm back in a spam kick and I'm making spam and eggs and shit like on Sunday mornings, right? Like the only time I really eat breakfast sometimes is on Sunday. But I haven't even been doing that for weeks. But at that time I was. So I'd wake up and it was late, like more of a brunch or whatever. But I was making spam and eggs and I was loving it. And then he's talking about spam musubi. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's musubi. I was like, oh, you like rice wrapped in seaweed, right? You dip it in sauce. He's like, oh, they make spam musubi in Hawaii. We just have now like within the last year, we have a Hawaiian barbecue joint that opened up, and they deliver to my house. And I have had Spam Musubi multiple times now over the last couple months and love the shit out of it. Hellboy restart. Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen, because last week we also did the Mario song. Spam and homemade fried rice is the bomb, says Bob. Yeah, I'm really excited to get into that movie. Man, what a great show already. This might have been the best show of 2022 so far, y'all. Thank you so much. Sundays are always better with the Hellboy song. Well, thank you for that, Eric. Fable knows the words. This is epic. Well, thank you. Glacial says, spam, spam, eggs, and spam. My mom puts pancake syrup on spam. Love it. I bet that would be good because, whenever you'd have pancakes and bacon, it's nothing better than getting some of that pancake syrup on the bacon. You do that thing, Oh, the Monty Python spam song. Is that from Spam-A-Lot? I don't know if I'm aware of that one. Spam-A-Lot's been here a few times in my town with the touring show, and I've never seen it. Is it from Flying Circus? I've never watched all of Flying Circus. I've always wanted to get that set. I remember one time being at Best Buy and thinking, I could spend $150 on a VHS set that was like this big. It is the end of the live, Jorm. We're about to dip out. I'm just kidding. Shit just getting started. So I mentioned this on the Blame Fable Tonight show, but this is a true story. We had a retro game night here last night, or Friday night, I should say. Me, Jelani, and Brooke showed up. It was Jelani's birthday week, and I was like, fuck it, we haven't had a retro game night in a long time. Let's do one. So Brooks came over, and we started playing, and we beat the first 2 levels of Batman with no planning. We just, like, fuck it, let's play Batman. We made it through the first 2 levels. Jelani showed up. As we were beating level 2, he jumped in. We wound up beating level 2, where you beat the artificial intelligence machine or whatever the fuck it is. And by the way, it's a great game, but it is difficult. But then I since have watched some videos, and I think that we could have a better go of it next time. But when we started level 3, we couldn't even get past the first fucking couple dudes because we were out of weapons. So we had to rethink. I think we're going to restart. We're going to fly through those. I think we got some strategies learned. Anyway, then I was like, Jelani, what do you want to play? He goes, Mega Man. So we start playing Mega Man 1. Brooks insists that we start on the Cutman level. I was like, nah, man. We need to start on Bobman or Gutsman. Like, we don't need to start on Cutman. So we spent forever on fucking Cutman. And Brooks kept getting to Cutman, but kept fucking dying. And he was like, oh, those bricks. I think we need Gutsman. I was like, no fucking shit, Brooks. With Gutsman, with his power, it takes 2 hits. Like, Jesus Christ, bruh. Anyway, so then we go to Gutsman, and we're like, oh, this is better. We can't fucking handle it at all. So then we go to Bomb Man, and we finally beat Bomb Man. It was like 7 to midnight. What's that, 5 hours? 5 hours. That's the progress we made. 3 fuckers together. We beat 1 level of Mega Man and 2 levels of Batman. That's why I love NES, man. We were talking about it, man. If you were a kid, and you rented these games, if you were able to beat it in an hour, you wasted that fucking money. They wanted you to rent these games, not be able to make it past fucking shit in the first week, the 2-day, 3-day rental. 3 days if it was a weekend, right? Cost more. But that, and then you want to re-rent it, or you'd want to, and I would always re-rent them. I didn't have a giant game library when I was a kid, but we were always avid renters. Like we probably, at my house, we had probably like 20 VHS and probably like 15 games, but like we would go to the video store. It was like an every other day thing, and then the weekend was the big one where they would get like 5 fucking movies and 2 games. And I loved it. Fridays were payday, right? I loved it. I thought it was great. And what made this one even more special is, so we ordered pizza, and I ordered it from Domino's because I'm like, I'm close to my free pizzas, so let's order some Domino's. And because they're doing this tie-in with Stranger Things, it comes in retro 80s fucking pizza boxes. So it was like, if only we had some fucking Tab or some shit, man. It was like one of the most authentic 80s nights ever. And I think I need to start theming these as 80s nights. But anyway, I just wanted to ramble about that because me, Brooks, and Jelani haven't actually... I mean, we've gone karaoke, but we haven't had a game night or a movie night. We haven't had a movie night in forever, but we haven't had a game night in a while either. So having the game nights, that's always fun. I enjoy hanging out, drinking beers, eating pizza, and hanging with my homies playing NES games. Fable says, love a good retro gaming session. Hell yeah. Glacial says, I found the Monty Python set on DVD in a pawn shop, $25. Hell yeah, good find. They did it on Flying Circus. All right, thank you for that. Yeah, I need to get into all of that. I've always wanted. I've seen bits here and there. Perry is in the house. Perry is another one who has gotten the Action Fest list, and we've started signing up people. And bruh, we're not ready to announce it, but Perry, great list, right? Some bangers on there. We're going to have a good Action Fest this year. Robbie, my man, Robbie from Earth 2 is here. He's one of my Heroes Con partners, man. Super excited, bro. We were talking about it. I saw Circumstances. You said you were at the Marriott. Should I say it? We're at the Embassy. All about Arcade 1-Up. I don't have any Arcade 1-Ups. I would like one. But my buddy John built his own arcade, and it was like a few $100s more than Arcade 1-Up, but he could put anything on there that he wants with the way that he does it. So I'm almost like, if I want an arcade, I want to get something like that. But y'all, I'm always a bad decision away from getting full into retro gaming right now. We use emulators and shit. But I know it would be an expensive proposition to get into, but there would be something magical about having the NES, Super NES, the Genesis, Master System, all that shit, like, and the games I really like. Oh my God. But anyway, Robbie says, did you say something about martial arts films? You need to check out Death Duel of the Mantis, unbelievable kung fu film. I haven't checked that one out yet. Tonight we're talking about Shaolin versus Llama from 83. Walmart is selling a pizza that comes in a Stranger Things box. I saw that. Perry says bangers for sure. Hell yeah. All right. Let's look back real quick. How far back in time? To last week's New Comic Book Day. What did you pick up? What did you read? What was your favorite read of the week? Or as we like to call it around here, what was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was The Closet, issue number 1. This is the new one from James Tynion, Gavin Fullerton, Chris O'Halloran, and is it Tom? Yeah, Tom Napolitano. Let's just go with that. Anyway, I really like this. It's the beginning of a 3-issue series from Image. This was originally presented on James Tynion's Substack. So apparently if you have his Substack, you've already been able to read this. But it's available in print now. And out of everything that came out, this is the one that stood out to me as a good choice for pick because it was a good news story to get into. It's basically about this kid who's got a monster in his closet. But mostly it's about the father. The kid's father, who we see him at a bar. He's like, let me just have a couple drinks before I go back home. He's just supposed to be picking up some tape because they are moving away from this place. Him and his wife have not been having a good time of it. Apparently, that's something we get from his conversation. It seems like he's been leaning into alcohol to kind of relieve some of his stress from what may be, in his mind, an overbearing partner. But we haven't seen the other side of it. The kid, by the way, has a monster in his closet. He's terrified of it. The mom is like, they're moving. They're trying. Basically, the moving is representing to him a fresh start for the family. And I think that the trauma that's happening to this kid because of the monster in his closet is representing the effect that a kid has being raised in a home with arguing parents. That's the situation I've been in my life with my siblings, and it's not a good spot to be in. And I think the monster represents that, and they're moving away from it, but I don't think that it's going to change anything, and I think this monster is going to follow them, but I don't know where the story is going to go. When the monster does show up, it gets very fucking creepy. I love the artwork. I think it's very atmospheric, very moody. Great spotting of blacks, very great representation of a lurking fear, especially that bit right there I just showed you. And like I said, maybe even an otherworldly alien, extra-dimensional, ultra-terrestrial type experience. And I'm literally showing you almost every single fucking page here because I just loved the book. I thought that the monster design was incredibly creepy. I love the pacing of it. I love the dialogue. I love the analogy and the subtext and the metaphor, however you want to put it. I thought it was great. Now, out of everything that came out, it was a pretty decent week, but out of everything that came out, that's what I thought about this book. So what did you think about The Closet if you picked it up, if you read it? And also, what was your favorite pick of the week? What was your pick of the week? So let's take a look at the chat and see what everybody says. I missed the old Koei Games business slims like Aerobiz. I don't even know what you're talking about there, Circumstance. Aerobiz? Let me look that up real quick. Aerobiz. Super Nintendo, Genesis. I don't think I've ever played these. Is that a Master System? Yeah, no, Genesis. Genesis and Super. I never played that one, ever. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of it for the Super Nintendo and play it, man. Is it on the Genesis Mini? I've got the Genesis Mini. I love those minis. They just announced the Mega Drive 2 Mini with the Mega CD. So basically that's the Genesis 2.0 Mini with the Sega CD. That's fucking awesome. My homie had a Sega CD, and we used to go to his house all the fucking time. He had a 32X and a Sega CD, and he had the goddamn, what was it, the power converter that you could play Mega Drive game or Master System games on the fucking Genesis. Ugh. Jesus. Ugh. Pick of the week. Spelio says, By the Horns was the best addition to a great series. Yes, it was. It was really good. Jim, what is up? This is how you pronounce it. It's Hassan Otsman El How. Otsman El How. That's how he does a podcast, and he has a YouTube channel. His YouTube channel is called Strip Panel Naked. It's a fantastic channel about craft in comics. So his videos are always worth checking out. And he does a magazine called Panel by Panel. He's a great letterer as well. I think he's the second best letterer working today, right behind Bidikar. But Haas is what most people call him. He has a podcast that he does. What's it fucking called? I can't remember. He does it with Diddy, but they don't do it very often. But it's Hassan Otsman El How. And I know, the first time I ever saw it, I was like, Otsman El Yo. That's how I said it first. But yeah, Otsman El How, I believe is how it goes. Taki says Firepower and New Thing. Both of those made appearances on my top 5. Rogue Collecting says, I really enjoyed The Closet. Very interested to see where it goes. Bob says, I have not read The Closet yet. Bob, one day Bob's going to be caught up and he's going to join us again on the monthly show. By the way, we had a great monthly show this last Thursday night. Me, Manny, Greg from Bearded Comic Bro, and Nick Comic Culture. I really like the 4-man or 4-person format. We get to get into it, and I really had a lot of fun that night. Hey, Nick Comic Culture's in the house. What is up? Hassan Otsman El How. Because I saw that you said got it. I just remember, like, when you finally learn how to say something, he's like, yeah, I learned it. Because so many things you can learn, but it's hard to get it. I remember practicing Carmine Dijon Domenico. I remember back in the day when I learned Bill Sienkiewicz, because I always said Sienkiewicz, but when I was like, Sienkiewicz, and I would just repeat it over and over. Nowadays, though, there's a lot of hard to pronounce names because comic book talent has gone majorly international, and there's a lot of people from all over the world doing work now, and Sometimes for us American tongues that just deaden our senses playing Mega Man over and over again. It's hard for us sometimes. Nick says, the monster in the closet at the end scene seemingly gets packed away, suggesting to me that you can't escape those kind of demons. Exactly, Nick. And I think it's going to be a nice 3-part story. Think of it like as if it was an episode of Tales from the Crypt or a Masters of Horror or something. It's a good first 20 minutes of the story. Yeah, Jim is popping up, growing out the dew. Joram says, Jim, pop, pop, boom, growing out the dew. I like it. I like it a lot, man. I look at Jim every day, and I'm just like, man, I really need to cut back on the beer and get back seriously and everything. God damn. Jim, man, you doing good work, man. You doing the Lord's work. I feel good tonight. Bayman says, Carnage is my pick of the week. Batman Annual and Black Panther were fun reads. I skipped out on Black Panther because it was okay, but it wasn't quite exciting me. I probably picked a bad one to jump out of. Carnage I liked, and Batman Annual surprised me a lot, actually. Eric says, Once and Future is so consistently good. Pick of the week for sure. I thought this issue was okay. The time jump, it felt weird to do that at that point. It should have been, the time jump should be between arcs, but I don't know. That's just me. What do I know? Still love it. Bob says, I have it. I just haven't cracked it open yet. I think you'll like it. I loved it. Cerebros says, loved The Closet on Substack. Hell yeah. Excited. Little Monsters was good. Every issue feels a little bit too short. I feel like I get what you're saying, but I could look at the use of this like digitized duotone and shade that he's doing or something with Dustin Nguyen's art. I could look at that and the composition of it and the spotting of blacks on that and the grays is fucking amazing, right? So I love it visually, and so I can linger if I want to, but it's also a quick read, which sometimes, especially in a stack of like 40 comics, you appreciate a quick read sometimes that still has impact. So whether a book is quick or slow to read, it's about the impact that I feel from it in that experience at that time, I guess. I think it'll make a great graphic novel read, but I do think the story has been intensifying and becoming more complex as it goes. Bob says, can't wait, bro. We are so close to moving into the new house. Once that happens, I will be back into the swing of things. Hell yeah. Good luck with that, bro. Smoke instead of drink. I know. Yeah, I know. I know how to do it. I've done it before. You can watch my YouTube journey. It goes like this. Yeah, PCP summer. Summertime. Summertime. Jim's pick of the week was the Action Annual. I know that because I checked out your video. I really like that Action Annual as well. The Clark story was okay. I thought it tried to get deep. I appreciate what they were trying to do with the juxtaposition of the story about the mothers. But the Mongol story, that shit was badass, bro. We should have had that as a one-shot, just that Mongol bit towards the beginning. Like, bruh. Like, that's the story that would have really got people been like, fuck, this Mongol dude's fucking the shit. But I did like it. I liked it a lot. Action Annual was a great read, says Spilio. Oh, is it time to smoke now? Almost. We're getting there. We're getting close. We're getting close. Yeah, it'll read great in trade. Still loving it. Hell yeah, Road Collecting. All right. We looked back at what our favorite books were from last week. So let's look ahead at what's coming up in shops this week. Pay attention to the list to tell me what you're most excited for. We got Batman 124, wrapping up Joshua Williamson's short tenure on Batman. We got Thor 26. We got Amazing Spider-Man number 3. Dark Knights of Steel number 7. Venom number 8. Dark Crisis number 1. Spawn 330. Star Wars 24. Flashpoint Beyond number 2, Batman Killing Time number 4, Marauders number 3, Legion of X number 2, skipping both of those. Oblivion Song 36 is finally here. Batman Beyond Neo Year number 3, Poison Ivy number 1, Twig, number 2. DC Pride 2022, number 1. Savage Avengers, number 2. Very excited for that. Aquaman Andromeda, number 1. Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor, number 1. Monkey Prince, number 5. Mighty Morphin, number 20. Time Before Time, number 13. Star Wars Tales. Chrysacook and fuck that, the Wookiee guy. Fortnite X Marvel. Zero War, number 1. Multiversity, Teen Justice, number 1. Sweet Paprika, number 10. Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, number 1. That Texas Blood, number 14. Earth Prime, number 5. The Flash. Blade Runner Origins, number 12. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, 293. Dogs of London, number 2. Invincible Red Sonja, number 9. Last Bot Standing for Transformers, number 2. We Live, Age of Paladions, number 3. Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, number 2. Rocketeer, Great Race, number 3. Dune, The Waters of Canley, number 2. Astronaut Down, a new one from Aftershock Comics, as well as Where Starships Go to Die. Both of those sound promising. Nyx, number 7. I'm having fun with that book. The Lion and the Eagle, number 4. Quests Aside, number 2. After School, number 1. It's a new one from Skybound. Barbarella, number 10. It always makes me think of that Duran Duran song when I mentioned Barbarella. Electric Barbarella. It's from the 90s. Heavy Metal Drummer, number 5. Metal Society, number 2. Excited for both of those titles. Vampirella Strikes, number 2. Doctor Who Origins, number 1. The Ward, number 1. It's a new one from Dark Horse. Probably not based on the final film from John Carpenter. Star Trek Discovery Adventures in the 32nd Century, number 4. Belit and Valeria Swords versus Sorcery, number 2. Dark Beach, number 3. Archer and Armstrong Forever, number 2. Rick and Morty Infinity Hour, number 3. Betty Page, The Alien Agenda, number 4. Cyberforce, the 30th Anniversary Commemorative Edition, number 1. I already have it. I don't need to pay $5 for another one. Just go into your local dollar bin. You'll find it for $1. You're fine. Code 45, number 1. But that being said, definitely buy it if you like Mark Silvestri. He gets a cut of that. Project Superpowers Fractured States, number 3. Horror Comics, number 12. ETER, number 2. Miss Meow, number 1. That's from Merc Magazine. Never heard of that. That's interesting. Distorted, number 3. Artist Elite have their Primer Blue out this week. I've taken a gander through it. Not as exciting as the first Primer Red, but still got some cool concepts in it. Ginny 02, number 2. Newman, number 3. Potions Inc., number 1 from Mad Cave. The Ballad of Ronan, number 1. Cult of Icarus, number 3. Whoops, I reviewed that last week. It's pretty good. Hawk the Slayer, number 3. Rivers of London, Deadly Ever After. Grim Fairy Tales presents Swimsuit Edition 2022. I know that's going to be Fable's pick of the week. I don't know why I decided to pick on you, Fable. Hawaii says Justice Warriors, number 1, but we're sex positive here, man. We ain't slinging on nothing. Boom says Oryx the Curse, number 1. Usher of the Dead, number 4. That's Blood Moon. Volcanosaurus from American Mythology. I've not had that on my radar at all, but I hope we ordered it. Volcanosaurus? It's a volcano fucking dinosaur. It's like a T-Rex with volcano powers. That looks fucking badass. Broken Eye, number 2. Blind Alley, number 2. We're just going to end it there. Some great books out this week. Ones I'm most excited for, 2 of them. They're DC books. Dark Crisis, Aquaman, Andromeda. I've read them. We'll talk about them in the DC Sneak Peek when we get back after this short break. And during the break, let me know. What are you most excited coming out in shops this week? And as soon as I find the bit, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 live, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. I tell you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night, June 5th, 2022 already. Can you believe we're already halfway through this year? Crazy, blows my mind. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Live. This is a show where we talk about movies, pop culture, comic books, and a whole lot more. The show has been great already. We talked about our favorite comic books of last week. We looked ahead at what was coming up in shops this week, including asking the question, what are you most looking forward to coming out in this week? For this bit, we got the DC sneak peek, we got Shaolin vs. Llama movie review, and we got Marvel in the 80s. And then after that, we got a lot more fun planned too. But even though we have a grandiose plan, inspired some might say, this show is driven, fueled if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. Find podcasts more over at popculturephilosophers.com, including our newest podcast with me, Dashing Drew Matson, and Hammer Time Holshoe, and Joe Corallo. We talked about comic book villains. That show is available to download or listen to over at popculturephilosophers.com and on iTunes. Other podcast services as well. Join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, follow us there, as well as on Instagram, where I do my weekly show on Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, called Comics and Karaoke. And it's basically me showing you what I picked up that day for New Comic Book Day, new comics, back issues, trade paperbacks, sometimes toys. Whatever I bought that day, I show it off, and I sing a little bit of a song. That's what we do on Wednesday nights over at Instagram. And then, of course, You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can support the channel over at patreon.com/PCP, where you already have video unedited access to the newest episode of the podcast, all about Mel Brooks, me, Jelani, Drew, and of course, John Hammertime Holshoe, talking about the legacy, life, and career of Mel Brooks. It was a fantastic show. You get the unedited, raw video version over at Patreon right now for all levels from $1 a month and up. That's a great deal, y'all, if I do say so myself. And let me shout out a Patreon real quick. We just shouted out Ganja Bar's Medium, but yo. Tomorrow Cinema, thank you so much for your support. Continued support for a long time. He's actually been a homie and a supporter for over 5 years of PCP. That's why he's part of the excitable PCP crew. Speaking of the excitable PCP crew, join us tomorrow night for Gross Point Blank on PCP Movie Night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Right before that, catch me over at The Experience, where we're going to be talking comics and selling comics and all other kinds of things. By the way, you can visit dynamicforces.com, and if you want to purchase something, enter at your cart Robbie. You'll receive 10% off. But Gross Point Blank is the PCP Movie Night crew's choice pick for tomorrow night. It was John Hammertime Holshoe's pick. Excited to talk about that one. On Thursday, we got Rachel Pollack and Joe Corallo joining us for a conversation to talk about their new book, Never Ending Party, which debuts on Tuesday from Comixology. I'm very excited. Joe Corallo, of course, friend of the show. Rachel Pollack has written a lot of books, fiction, and, of course, books about the tarot, as well as being the prominent follow-up writer to Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol run, which is much beloved. And then join us for Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday night at 6:30 p.m.-ish Central Time, hopefully. We're going to be talking about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
If you notice, that was a lot of CGC books there, and I saw some Ken Hazers. He was cleverly hiding there. It's going to be a really great show. Lots of cool stuff is always available on Monday night. Plus, we always have lots of great conversation. Join us for that. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So let's go back into the chat and see what people were saying about what they were most looking forward to coming up. Nick says, looking forward to Flashpoint Beyond, ETER, Metal Society, Aquaman, Twig, and Thor. Jorm says, Nick, good picks of the month for May. Hell yeah. Fable says, the Wookiee guy is his new name. Yeah, let's just call him that. Eric the Stash says, can't wait for that Texas Bloods return this Wednesday. Spilio says, I'm looking forward to ETER. Loving AWA books. Bob says, better start my Thanksgiving shopping now. Dang, I am going to blink and it will be Thanksgiving already. You know it. And like Bobby De La Ghetto says, time flies. Bob's looking forward to Flashpoint Beyond, Twig, and the new We Live Paladins book are what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully We Live rebounds from the last issues. We'll see. Actually, I won't see. I dropped it. Verno says, didn't they do Henry last week? I thought they did. Something happened. I don't know. Something happened. Bob says, so true. I can't drop a deuce without losing 3 weeks of time. That sounds like you need more fiber in your diet, my man. So what do you want to chat about? What do you want to talk about? Let me tell you this. I'm seeing Obi-Wan hate. I'm seeing Obi-Wan love. Every time there's a new property involving Star Trek, my bad, forgot where I was. Every time there's a new show involving the property Star Wars, I hear the same bullshit on all sides. And what I do is like to watch it and just decide for myself. I'm liking Obi-Wan. I like it. It's reminding me of one of my favorite parts of the prequels, which is Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan. So I like that. I like him not so confident. We haven't seen that. He's suffered a lot of losses. He's been living in a fucking cave for 10 years, carving up a goddamn desert space whale. I like it. And I really honestly think that, slight spoilers here, I guess, the confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader was one of the scariest, most well done in like scenes intention as a design intention that Star Wars has done. That scene when you know that Obi-Wan is not going to be able to handle Vader at this point, and Vader's like there, and you're like, he's here already, and you're just like, and even though I knew that Obi-Wan's gonna be fine, I am like, bro, I'm kind of scared right now. They made Vader scary again, y'all. They made Vader scary again. That was cool as shit to me, man. Really was. Really was. What y'all think of Obi-Wan? Spilio says, Star Trek is better. Yes, I said it. Well, we're not getting into that whole thing right now. It's bad enough that we're talking about Obi-Wan. That's divisive enough. Talking about any Star Wars property is divisive enough. Hey, we got Zach in the house. We also got Damien from Sleepy Reader 666. I watched your video earlier. I watched through the countdown where you got to what was your number one? Oh, I didn't even read your number one. It was the Conqueror Worm. I didn't even realize that was Clara Meath that did that. If I knew that was Meath, I probably would have checked it out. I'll definitely check it out now if we still have it at the shop. If not, I'll see if Diamond has it. But no, I love your videos, and I noticed you went in some other stuff after that. I haven't gotten a chance to watch that yet, but y'all, Sleepy Reader 666, really good perspective on story and art and comics. Check out. Somebody throw a link out, please. Can someone throw out a link to Dylan's Horror Show? Why the fuck not? It makes me look like an ass when I promote something and it doesn't fucking happen. So I apologize for that, y'all. Sorry. Some feelings from last night just snuck in. Let's banish him. Mark, what is up? I'm like you. I decide for myself if I like something or not, and Obi-Wan is good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Some people are going to enjoy it. Some people are not. Steph's in the house, of course. What's up, my man? Great show tonight. Y'all got me wanting to rewatch a movie I never really liked to begin with. Jorm says, Betty Page, I have to go to a specific LCS where I get Migos, Dark Crisis, and freaking Thor. Give me more indie properties. Hell yeah. The full clip says, now you got me hyped to see it. I like it. There are some issues. It's not a perfect show. I'm not telling you it's the greatest thing ever. I'm just saying that I'm enjoying it. It's not Mando level, but I'm enjoying it. I like it. I try not to let people influence me too much. Apparently I let cartoonist kayfabe influence me too much because I keep buying shit that I see on their channel. And I'm like, this is what people say about me. This is what people say about Fable. They blame Fable. Blame Robbie. Blame kayfabe. How about that? They're going to be at Heroes Con. I'm so excited. So excited to meet them. Oh my God. Y'all don't even know. Steph says, yes, Obi-Wan love. Hell yeah, man. Man, we the PCP Bad Batch, we got to do this. We're too late for this, but we got to do this. We need to have a PCP Excitable Crew, PCP Army Bad Batch collaboration, and we need to pick a show and do a weekly live stream about it and have it here on PCP. We need to do that. I guess the next show is Miss Marvel. Let's start talking about that, y'all. Who wants to do a weekly stream with me, with Miss Marvel, from the, of course, the Excitable Crew, and, of course, from the Bad Batch? Let's start talking about that, y'all. Every week, like on the dot. Maybe make it a... Miss Marvel release on Wednesdays. Could we do a Wednesday night? That would be timely. Let's think about it, y'all. I could probably do it Fridays. Let's think about it. Wednesdays or Fridays, I could definitely do it. Nova69 dudes says, Obi-Wan, meh, it was just all right for me, dog. Hey, that's fair enough. It's okay. We're not here to hate on each other for what we like or dislike. We're just here to be like, hell yeah. That's what the beauty of pop culture is. It's all this story and art out there. How do we receive it? What do we think? The discussion is what makes it all worth it to me. Mark says Star Trek Strange New Worlds is good also. I keep hearing that, and I'm excited to dive in. I really am. Eric says, Obi-Wan has been one of the better Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and I'm really enjoying it. Glad you're digging it. Bob from Everything Comics says, I am torn with Obi-Wan. I think they have messed with canon too much. I don't like the new Reva character. Great actress, but not buying the character, though. I liked her a lot better in episode 3. But I don't think we're supposed to like her, really. But I do love the idea of, I like to love the villains, and the Grand Inquisitor was the villain that I was loving. I've never watched Rebels, so I don't have any kind of history with this character, but I loved him, and I hated him kind of getting taken out of the picture so quick. I love Fifth Brother, I think is what it is, played by the dude that plays Han from fucking the Fast and Furious franchise. So she's not the most dynamic villain for me right now, but when this was the Vader terrorizing Obi-Wan episode, man, I loved it. I did, man. I have issues. I hate. I don't like. I mean, okay. I heard a lot of people hate the kid that plays Leia. I don't mind that. I don't mind Leia's involvement, but the premise for it is really fucking thin. Like, you know, they don't know. Like, it's so weird. Like, of course, driving Leia, like kidnapping Leia would bring Obi-Wan out. But that's something that we as the audience know, not something that some random ass fucking Inquisitor should know. I don't know. Plus, you got Flea and 2 fucking badass merc aliens, and they can't catch this little fucking 10-year-old girl running through a goddamn forest. They have to do like a fucking 5-minute scene chase. So stupid. It's got stupid stuff, but it's got stuff I really like in it as well. And that's how Star Wars is to me, y'all. Like, I know a lot of people are into it a lot more than me. Like, I do like Star Wars. Okay? I like Star Wars. I've owned Star Wars toys. I have Star Wars movies. I like Star Wars too, but I don't take it as seriously as other people do. To me, that's Trek. But even nowadays, I don't take modern Trek as seriously as some people do. Because there's this whole, like, divisiveness. And I love conversation and debate. But sometimes when it just gets, like, fucking angry, like, we don't need to be talking about pop culture the way we talk about to each other about, like, politics and shit. This is pop culture, man. Come on. Come on. We doing a new movie or sticking with Henry on Saturday? We're doing Henry. God damn it. No unfortunate series of events is going to stop us, me, Verno, and Steph, from talking about that goddamn movie, because I was excited as shit to do it, and we're going to fucking do it, god damn it. I'm not even kidding. There was almost a chance that we were going to do Dylan's Horror Show on PCP last night. I fucking thought about it, but we weren't. I don't want to get into it, because I love doing Dylan's Horror Show. And I hope that we continue to do Dylan's Horror Show every week uninterrupted going forward. Because it's one of my favorite things to do. Got to mitigate that kayfabe effect. I do, man. Seriously, I have a luxury too. Because I work at the comic shop, right? I run a shop. I'm the store manager. So I make sure, like, every day I go, oh, it's 8 o'clock. I look, what did they cover, right? And if it's something of interest to me that I don't have, I immediately go to the shop and I'm like, all right, time to check prices and see if we got it and if I want it. So I'm fortunate. But you got to mitigate that kayfabe effect. I fucking love those dudes so much. We got a big portion of show and tell devoted to them tonight. In a way. In an indirect way. It's pretty much a direct way. That confrontation was too out of balance from what I know of future events, but I'm on board to see where they take it. Mando is still the best thing Star Wars has had in years. I agree with the Mando thing for sure. It's the best thing they've had in years. Though I did really like the Solo film. I liked the Solo film. And I thought Last Jedi was goddamn beautifully shot. Like, and it had a great striking sense of design. Outside of that, in hindsight, I don't really like the sequel trilogy. We should probably do a review again one day. A re-review. Fable's down. Missing Link is down. We do a capstone Whiplash Wednesday to follow Miss Marvel. We could do it like what? 7's usually when the capstone. We'll talk to y'all. We'll figure it out. We could do Friday or Wednesday, but I know we got a good thing going. Whiplash Wednesday. We can get everybody involved. Everybody that drops that content that day, we can get involved. And also Jelani, if he's available. Jelani would have to be a little, yeah. We'll work it all out. Why are we doing this shit live, man? This isn't exciting to other people. Chill out, man's in the house. What's up? Bobby says, I came for the pop culture, but stayed for the philosophy. You know, we used to get accused all the time of not hitting the philosophy thing enough, but all those accusations kind of stopped. And I wonder if people just got with the idea that we're just called the PCP, you know, pop culture philosophers, or if there is a nugget of something that we can provide here. I think we do. Especially on PCP movie nights. I think we provide some nuance to, or as John on Mondays always says on the Comic Collectible Show, I provide a context to these pop culture news bits that everybody's talking about. I provide a context to them. I always like that bit. I'm going to have to do a pull quote from good old John. Robbie, have you seen the new Usagi Yojimbo cartoon on Netflix? I don't know, bro. Tell you one thing, it's not like the comics at all. I know that it's not like the comics. It was never going to be like the comics. Back in the day, that's what Space Usagi was. Space Usagi was an attempt to try to reimagine the property as something that would be exciting as a TV show. And here's the thing. Whether it works or not, I want it to work because I think Stan deserves it. And I would love to see Stan. I got to meet Stan at Heroes Con 2019. And on my way to the Westin, because we were walking to one hotel from the other. And he was walking along with us. Him and I guess it was his wife. And we just got to just be next to Stan walking for like 3 blocks in Charlotte, North Carolina. And everybody kept being like, everybody recognized him because everybody's there for the show. He's the guest of honor. This year it's John Romita Jr., but he was the guest of honor that year. Him and Sergio Aragones, who I did not meet, and I regret it. And Mark Evanier was there too. But man, it was so cool to walk basically to BarCon with Stan Sakai. He did not participate in BarCon. He went straight up to his room. But it was cool to be there. And if Robbie Bateman's still here, he can attest. Like, we didn't talk to him. We were very respectful. We did like kind of do the nod and be like, You're God. You're like a comic book God. And he was so cool, man. When I did meet him, it was super cool. Two Gun Pedro says, sorry, y'all. I overslept. I don't know if he's doing it, if he's doing a bit or if he's being for real. Hey, Bueller's in the house. Hey, Station. Bueller, thank you for being here, bro. How you doing? Glad to see that you got the situation taken care of and you made it back up to the Northwest. I typed in PCP on YouTube and drugs popped up. Yeah, probably. Robbie, do you have a platform we can show and tell you what we got for the week, please? Ooh, that's a good idea. What if y'all could send me your show and tell and I could do a show, like add it to my show and tell. Let's do that. Send your show and tell. We'll start this next week. Send your show and tell pics to popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. Send like a PNG or a JPEG or whatever. Let's do that. Send those. Send your show and tell pics to popculturephilosophers@gmail.com. I like that idea. That's a great idea, Chill Out Man. Yeah, send pics to that email address. We'll start that next week. Sleepy Reader says, after seeing the Usagi Yojimbo trailer, I didn't give it a try. The thing is, I know that it's not a show made for us who like the comic. It's a show trying to reimagine the series and property for a different audience. For a new, young, very young. I want to check it out. I still do. But I hope it's There are plenty of cartoons that are based on properties that I grew up loving that I don't mind if they're not for me, if they're for a younger audience, because we got to get people into this shit somehow. And cartoons was how we got brought in. And I know kids still fucking watch cartoons. They should do a Usagi video game. That's what they should do. Nowadays. Like maybe an app game or some shit. But that being said, I hope I like it when I eventually get to check it out. But it does look different. And I knew it looked different, so I wasn't in a hurry. I would much rather read old school and current Usagi comics. But I hope it's successful because he deserves it. Because that dude has been doing the same fucking grind for a long ass time, over 30 years. And it's just, it started masterful and it stayed masterful. It's ridiculous. And he's a letterer. You want to see a hand-lettered comic? Read Usagi Yojimbo. It's good to be the king. That does sound fun. I'm excited for that. Yeah, PCP show and tell. PCP Army show and tell. Let's do it. I like it. No dick pics, please. Okay? Seriously? Usagi Yojimbo would be perfect as a video game. I agree. Bueller says, Robbie, I'm doing a live coffee show tomorrow morning. Big announcement that will make a lot of people very happy. Well, I'm excited to see what that is, Bueller. I'll have to definitely check out the video. I'm usually doing my morning routine when you stream live, but I always try to check it out when I You gonna try to leave now? You gonna try to leave now? We barely started the second act. I'm talking to my cat. Everybody check out the Bueller Show in the morning. Station identification, my cat wants to leave the room. Nick says, unsends email, didn't know all the rules. Oh, man. Y'all too funny. Excited to see the news, Bueller. You know, you can always tell me these things ahead of time. I thought I was an insider on the Bueller train. I've been on the Bueller bus. I have your blade sword. I have the Bueller blade sword. I have inherited the first and final 5. Just saying. Like, y'all know how hurt I was when I was listening to a new Comics by Perch video. It had Joe on there, so I wanted to check it out. And he goes, they're talking about the new book with him and Rachel Pollack, and Perch alludes to the idea that he's read it. And I'm like, Joe. Thought we were tight. You just wait and see how I treat Joe now. No more inside information. You called me and you ghosted me. I called you back, you ghosted me. You told me you were going to call me back. I sat there waiting on you all goddamn night, you asshole. Fuck you. Tell me I ghosted you. Bro, I keep my phone on silent, man. I fucking paid attention to my phone all goddamn night because you said you were going to call me back and you didn't. Fuck you, Bueller. And then you go around my ass to get back to fucking to get back to Oregon. I see how it is, bruh. I see how it is, Bueller. We're just kidding, man. I love Bueller so much. All right, y'all, fuck it. Let's get into the DC sneak peek. DC's got books this week, believe it or not. A couple anticipated books, highly anticipated books. I've read all of them. Not all of them. I skipped out on some. Batman Killing Time, didn't read it. I'm done. I'm done. Aside from that, it's time for the DC sneak peek. First up is going to be Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, #1. Here's the thing. Why do they keep doing #1s? Why did they keep doing series and miniseries? Why? Because Wonder Woman, the whole Wonder Woman corner of the DC universe right now, has been boring and dull to me. And I've tried. They relaunched Wonder Woman as a 2-issue series tied in with Trial of the Amazons. They had a Trial of the Amazons. I keep trying. And every time they drop a new #1, I try it again. So here I am again, talking on social media. I guess YouTube's a social media. I don't fucking know, but I'm talking about Nubia, Queen of the Amazons. However, it backfires because it's dull and it's boring. And it doesn't read like a #1. It's not a good introduction. It's dull and it's bogged down. Duh. Poison Ivy, #1. This is actually written by G. Willow Wilson, co-creator of Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. It's got artwork from, is it Mariko Takara? Yeah, or Marcio Takara. Hassan Otsman El-How on the lettering. This was all right. It was okay. I felt a bit lost. Later on, we'll get to the Batman issue by Joshua Williamson. The backup story in Batman is the lead-in to this. That I read after reading this. You should read that backup story in Batman before you read this. It sets it off in a direction. The direction's interesting. I like the artwork, first of all. I really like the artwork in this book. I don't mind the direction. I don't mind the characterization, but it feels like it's trying to tread the line. Poison Ivy could go and be an anti-hero, or she could be a villain. And this seems like it's trying to tread that line too much. Because she's doing truly heinous things in here, which I love. Like, go deep, go hardcore, like, get as fucking raw and gritty as you can. Make her a goddamn villain. But they're also trying to make her feel, like, make us feel empathy with her. And that's a bit unbalanced, but it's still worth checking out, probably. Multiversity, Teen Justice, #1. Cash grab on the name of Multiversity. If they just did a Teen Justice series, not as many people would check it out. Don't be fooled. This is not a Morrison-esque comic at all. It is co-written by Danny Lore, who I do like and respect as a creator. It is Ivan Cohen as the co-writer, and the artwork by Marco Falia is pretty decent and got some nice kinetic energy to it. But all in all, it just doesn't do anything for me. But this is geared towards a younger, fresher audience of today. And so maybe if you're younger, like if you're in your early 20s and you want your books a little bit more on the spot and on the moment for youth culture, maybe this fits your bill. But it didn't really work for me, but it wasn't necessarily a bad book. Dark Knights of Steel, issue #7. This was a bit of a letdown. It was an all right issue. It's got a fill-in artist, but it's Nathan Gooden, who is the artist of Barbaric and has been the art director of Vault for years. Like, a fantastic fucking visual artist, but it is a different style and a different dynamism than what we get from Putri's artwork. It's dynamic, but it is different, so it may feel a little bit jolting when you're reading it in a graphic novel. That being said, we have a major crux of the story, but it is a little bit of a calmer issue. So the art change doesn't completely come out of nowhere. And like I said, I love Nathan Gooden's artwork, and I think he would have done all 12 issues of this magnificently well. But if you're giving me a limited series, 12 issues, come on. Give me the same artist all the way through. No shade on Nathan Gooden. I love the dude's artwork. The artwork in here is fine. I'm just saying, let's plan this shit out a little bit better. But it's an all right issue. It's a little bit of a lull issue. I'll say that. Then we got Flashpoint Beyond, issue #2. I'm digging this series. We got a really cool, interesting murder mystery. So you're putting the detective in Flashpoint Batman, Thomas Wayne Batman, back in his world, somehow mysteriously recreated, but it is kind of threaded into the mystery that is Dark Crisis and the stuff lingering from Doomsday Clock. So that's kind of threaded in there, but at the core, it is a character study on Thomas Wayne coming back to this world that he thought he got rid of. It's basically like when you think you've overcome something in your life, say an addiction or say some kind of fault in your life, and you think you've overcome it, and then one day it hits you back in your head, like say you feel like you've overcome depression, and then one day, or anxiety, and one day it comes back to you. that's kind of what he's going through right now, going back to a world that he thought he had helped destroy and undo, and basically by undoing the sins of his past, right? So that's an interesting kind of thing. The artwork is solid. They use different artists in here throughout, but it actually still feels very cohesive. So I'm liking the book. I think it's really good. And even though there are 3 writers on there as well, it still has a cohesive, unique voice. So there you go. Then we got Batman 124. This is kind of like a coda to Joshua Williamson's Abyss story. So I'm going to be very curious to see how they collect this, because he did his Abyss story, then he did the crossover with Deathstroke and Robin the Shadow War, and now this coda is more to the Abyss story, and it sets up something new and different that will probably be utilized in Batman Incorporated, coming out from Ed Brisson and John Timms in like October of this year. We talked about that on the wrap-up. But I liked it. I thought it was fine. Great artwork from Howard Porter, a little bit of Jorge Fornes in there as well. Some really dynamic layouts from Howard Porter that I'm not necessarily super used to, even through some of his Flash work. I think this was some really stuff, but the artwork felt very like frantic and rushed too at the same time. So I had an energy to it that I don't quite think matched the story. I think it kind of excelled the story, kind of went over hard, if you will. But I did like it. And the backup story by G. Willow Wilson and Danny makes me appreciate the Poison Ivy story more, but also makes me really wish we got Danny doing the Poison Ivy art, because her Poison Ivy stuff here was dope. So there you go. Then we've got Dark Crisis #1. So I've already alluded to this. I read this a few weeks ago. I reread it again today in print. There have been some editorial changes from the one I watched, I think, just some slight little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it was the book I read, and I enjoyed it. Now, here's the thing. We had a whole conversation with Josh, and Josh is incredibly passionate about the DC Universe. He's incredibly passionate about what he's doing in the direction of where they're taking this, and I'm down for it, because a lot of people have an idea that this book is an excuse to put together this new Justice League with all the new heroes, like the next Batman and Wonder Girl and Jonathan, and that's not what it's doing. This is 100% about the legacy of DC, and I like it. I am a mark for DC Crisis events. Even if this was mediocre, I would still love it. If this was shit, I would still like it. You get what I'm saying? I like Zero Hour. This is not Zero Hour. It's way better than 0 Hour, right? We have to see where it goes, because Josh was talking to us and we talked a little bit on and off screen, but from what I can gather from what Josh was telling us, this is really going to ramp up in the next few issues, and I'm excited to check that out. This first issue is very slow. So don't be fooled by that, because Josh told us that originally it was written that the death of the Justice League and this issue were one thing. So this is the second part of that story. So read it like that. Read it like the death of the Justice League and then right into this. And then it doesn't feel as slow, right? Because you have this big momentous thing that happens. That being said, a lot of this is character study, character work, legacy building, legacy reminding. But I loved it. Daniel Stempere's artwork was awesome, totally worthy of a Crisis event. Lots of characters, lots of detail. I think that when this book explodes in the next issue that Josh promised, if it does explode like Josh said in the next 2 issues, Daniel's artwork is going to 100% capture that. And I'm excited for this book. I'm a mark for Crisis events. And I also know what a lot of people think this book is trying to do. And that is trying to do something, I hate to use the W word, but that they're trying to basically create this forced representation of the Justice League that we don't want. That's not what it's doing at all. And there's even, I think, some meta commentary on that idea. Dark Crisis #1, I liked, but do be expecting a slower, character-driven story that is supposedly supposed to unleash. And y'all, Josh was super cool. Glad he came on the show. Y'all check out that conversation if you haven't already. I don't kayfabe my reviews, but I do tell you I'm a mark for DC Crisis events. Expect a slow book, but I really liked it. Then we got Aquaman Andromeda #1. My most anticipated book of this week, because first of all, it's a DC Black Label book, Prestige Plus format, that is not involving Batman or any of the Batman characters. And it's It's got artwork by Christian Ward. It's got lettering by Aditya Bidikar. And it's written by Ram V. It's Ram V writing my favorite DC Comics superhero in a mature DC Black Label fashion with Christian Ward and Aditya Bidikar. Did it disappoint me? Slightly. It didn't wow me as much as I thought it would. However, it was the best issue of Aquaman comics I have read since Jeff Johns. This is the best Aquaman comic I have read in probably 10 fucking years, y'all. This was awesome. And I'll say this. My favorite Michael Crichton book is Sphere. It's a story where they discover this alien ship or something at the bottom of the ocean. They bring in this team of experts in. They keep it very secretive what they're trying to do. And there's a sphere in the ship. And it's trying in like the mystery of what the sphere is. And then the intensity of what it's like to be at the bottom of the ocean. Like learning about something that is like being cut off and learning at the bottom of the ocean about something otherworldly. That's what Sphere is. And that's what this book is. It's Sphere with Aquaman and Black Manta. And I really liked it. I liked it a lot. It disappointed me a little bit, meaning that I was really expecting something wow. And it doesn't quite do that. Now, some of the moments in the artwork, and I probably shouldn't show artwork, but I don't give a shit right now. Because I'm just going to show y'all that. The coloring, Christian Ward's got like a painterly style to it. That's badass. Bruh. Y'all look at that. The artwork is really good. The story is really good. When I said that it was slightly disappointing, realize my expectations on this book were super high. Did it meet them? I don't know. There was a part of me where I was like, this is Sphere with Aquaman. That was kind of like, I don't know if Rom did that on purpose or not, but like, it actually really works. And right now, it's my favorite DC book I read this week. I actually loved it. I thought it was great. Disappointed because it didn't meet expectations, but at the same time, it met expectations I didn't realize I was going to have. I love the throwback to Michael Crichton's Sphere. I love the artwork. It's ethereal. It's atmospheric. There's very little Aquaman in here. And the Black Manta bit, nobody's written Black Manta better. I don't know if ever than fucking Ram V. Black Manta's got a tiny little bit in this first issue. Y'all, I'm an Aquaman mark, okay? But like nobody's written Black Manta like this to me. Like it is the core of the character of Black Manta, but the way it's portrayed and so he distills who Black Manta is in just like a couple fucking pages. Oh my God. That being said, this book is actually, the more I talked about it, I wasn't disappointed in that book at all. So it was awesome. Dark Crisis, maybe that was the book I was a little bit disappointed in at first, but talking to Josh, it really evened everything out, and I'm ready for this book to fucking explode, but I really like Dark Crisis. Batman was pretty decent. Some really great artwork from Howard Porter. Flashpoint Beyond was super solid. Dark Knights of Steel was a little bit of a lull and a letdown, but it was all right. Nathan Gooden is a great artist, did some great work in there. Teen Justice didn't work for me, but it's not a book made for me. Poison Ivy #1 is intriguing. We'll have to see. And Nubia, well, less we say about that, the better. That was your DC sneak peek. You know, I started the Aquaman thing saying I was a little bit disappointed, and I was when I first started reading it. But then when I got into it, and then there is a Sphere connection in that book, y'all. Straight up. If anybody's read Sphere by Michael Crichton, that's my favorite Michael Crichton book, and Michael Crichton, I know he's just this kind of like run-of-the-mill 80s, 90s fucking sci-fi writer, but like I fucking love his shit, right? It's not super high concept, but I like it, and I love the characters in his books. Sphere is my favorite. This is Sphere with Aquaman. That's what it is. All right, let's take a look at the conversation. Aquaman Andromeda time, says Eric. All right. Shit talking with Bueller. This is amazing. Always, always. I love shit talking with Bueller. We shit talked a lot when he was here in studio. It was fun. Y'all should check out those live streams if you missed them. We did one on my channel, one on his channel, one on the bus, one here in the PCP. Huntsville Attic, Studio A. Where do I get a Bad Batch hoodie with Slash on the back? Yeah, I want one too. Poison Ivy was decent circumstances. I'll say that. So, dumb question. Why do you just do a DC sneak peek? Is it the timing of the release of DC Comics? It is that. So, Nova 69, the DC books release on Tuesday. I do my video on Tuesday nights when I drop it. So, there is that element. The other element is, at the time, we get the DC books before anybody else. And we still now we get Marvel and Diamond earlier than we typically did, but not early enough for us to unpack and get it all sorted for me to take them home. But DC books we get done on Saturdays, so I get to take them home, and they're ready to go on Saturdays is what I should say. But they're not on sale till Tuesday, but I get to take them home and I read them a little bit earlier to kind of get a head start, so that you guys get the weekly comic book review just a little bit sooner. I do have access sometimes to digital comics early as well, and I will read those sometimes. But for the most part, we just do the DC sneak peek. Yeah, our DC books actually come in like on Wednesday or Thursday, like the week before. It's wild. Eric says, Nathan Gooden needs to be on more books, though. His art is crazy good. Yeah, but we're getting more Barbaric, so that's really cool. Give me a good 5-6 year plus run on Barbaric, and I'm down for that. Nick says, I'm loving Flashpoint so far. There's a lot of emotional elements in it as well. And the art is great. Yeah, I think you'll really like it here. In Rom We Trust. That was a great show with Josh, says Fable. Thank you so much. And he dropped a link right there. Bobby De Leghetto says, the artwork of that Aquaman book looks good, but it looks like he merged with Metamorpho. Well, he's got this like coral armor on, which I think is pretty dope, actually. Mark says, Sphere was a really good book. Yeah, I fucking love that book, man. Chill Out Man says, oh my God, Sphere was a good movie. This book should be nice. The movie is not as good as the book. I mean, the movie's okay. Being a fan of the book way before, I read that book several years before that movie. I guess it was new. I don't remember when the book first came out. It probably came out earlier. Anyway, the movie's okay. Skip and Tosh is in the house. What's up? Can't wait for this book. Brother Joe's in the house. Robbie, one Hellboy of a kind of night. You know it, bro. Someone throw out $1. We'll do a Hellboy song. It's all night long. We'll do Hellboy songs. Otherwise, you might have to wait for after credits. Bob says, Sphere is a damn good book. I love Andromeda Strain too. I love all of his fucking books for the most part. Eaters of the fucking Dead is great. Of course, Jurassic Park. Everybody knows that one. But yeah, you're right, bruh. Great Train Robbery is really good. We got to read that in fucking high school. And I was like, Robin, Michael Crichton, Mark, man. Like, I have all of his, Disclosure. All that stuff. Rising Sun. Oh, my God. Timeline. I didn't like the Timeline movie. And, of course, co-creator VR. Or creator VR, I should say. Sphere's my favorite book of his, though. And Andromeda Strain is fucking amazing. Oh, my God, I love that one. Gooden is doing the next full volume of Barbaric. There's a one-shot that's done by a different artist, but he is coming back for another miniseries. Oh, Event Horizon's great. Event Horizon, we actually covered March Madness last year here on the channel. We did a PCP movie night, chill out, man. So if you ever got a couple hours you want to kill, pop that on. Pop PCP movie night, Event Horizon. Check it out. I was that way with John Grisham back in the day. Loved reading his books and then watching the movie. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, it's time for the next bit. Let's not waste any more time. We're having fun tonight, y'all. This might be a long one. We'll see. But it's time for my next Kung Fu movie guided by my Sifu, Bullseye Bob. So here's what we've been doing. Bullseye Bob's been sending me on this Kung Fu movie journey, right? But I also want to do another project, which is going through all the John Carpenter films chronologically. So we did that last week. Last week we started with Dark Star. But the week before that we did Riccio, which was a Kung Fu movie that was fucking wild. Brooks watched it and he loved it. So we're alternating weeks. So 1 week a Kung Fu movie, the next week the John Carpenter movie in chronological order. So last week was Dark Star, today is a Kung Fu movie, and before we get to it, Nick with the Super Chat. Testing the Super Chat feature, is this thing on? Let's see if I don't fuck it up this time. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth sometime long ago to save it or destroy. Sent to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had the sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit, now he fights with the man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with the fire starter named Liz, and an ectoplasmic master named Johan. BBRD. Yeah! Thank you so much, Nick. We really do appreciate that, but you don't have to send super chats to get on the monthly show, bro. You become a mainstay there, man. Bob says, in the 90s, it was Michael Crichton and Robert McGammon books I could never get enough of. Swan Song was one of my favorite books in the 90s. Albert loved Time to Kill. Hell yeah. All right. It's time for the Kung Fu movie of the every other week. Tonight, we are talking about... Sleepy Reader says, my wife is wondering at the strange music coming from my phone. Somebody needs to unsending super chat. Okay. Fuck it. All right. Now it's time for the movie. 1983's Shaolin versus Lama. Let's do it. Yo, Shaolin versus Lama is pretty fucking cool, y'all. It's an interesting movie. It's got a lot of fights. The fighting is awesome in this movie. We'll get to it. And it's got some of that quirky humor in it, but it balances out pretty well. Now, the copy I watched was not the greatest, but it was graciously provided to me by Bullseye Bob himself. Full frame, a little rough, but I would love to see if one day they could find and upgrade this, because it would be magnificent and would be one of the best Kung Fu Hong Kong cinema movies out there. So I don't know the names. Bob is here. He'll help us out. But this dude is the hero of the story. In a lot of these films, you got this dude who's just trying to be the best at Kung Fu, and he's going around trying to find Kung Fu teachers. And so he tests them out first. So it opens up. He's testing a dude, and he's able to defeat him. So he's like trying to find the ultimate master who can teach him the next level of Kung Fu. He comes across this monk who's out there basically procuring wine and meat for one of his masters at the monastery. He is a Shaolin monk, and this old guy loves drinking and he loves eating meat, which is, of course, not cool if you're a Shaolin monk, but he winds up meeting him, and this monk dude is the best character in the fucking movie. He's my favorite character. I loved him. He's incredibly funny. So he refuses to teach this newcomer any kung fu. He refuses to allow him to train with him. So since he loves meat so much, they devise this plan that they start cooking and roasting meat. He shows up, and they basically have to fight with each other. He grabs the meat, and some really interesting fight choreography around him fighting this dude, trying to keep him away from the meat that he's stolen from him. But through this, he's learning a little bit of technique. And then the main abbot of the monastery, of the Shaolin monastery, finds out that he's there. They kick him out. He goes out and he meets this dude. He's the villain of the piece. Look at him right there, looking like a Hong Kong fucking Shazam. Fucking is a pimp. Look at that. But he is the villain of the piece, and a masterful villain as well. Really cool stuff. But he used to be, so he's part of a rival sect called the Lama. So there's Shaolin and there's the Lama. He spied on the school. He infiltrated the school as a student, stole this ancient text of ancient techniques and left. And that's the reason why the older monk has decided to go about just drinking wine and eating meat all the time. So he goes out after the hero gets banned from the monastery. He goes out and he meets this woman. She's being attacked by the villain of the piece. They run to the monastery for sanctuary, to the temple, and the henchmen come in, and there's a great fight there where the monks just beat the shit out of him. They then accept our hero to training to be a Shaolin monk. He's trained by the wino chicken eating motherfucker, right? And then we get a training sequence. I love training sequences, and we get a good classic kung fu training sequence in this movie that I highly appreciate. But then the villain shows up, and regardless of the efforts of our hero, his kung fu is not good enough yet. And the woman that they were protecting, as well as other members of the monastery and the Grand Master who was training our hero, they wind up dying. He tries to leave, but they refuse to allow him to leave. But then there is an ultimate showdown that happens where the main abbot goes with a few others to take out the main villain, and they're not doing so well, so our hero has to show up. And after he has been punished, having to do all these extra chores, they've been teaching him this Buddha finger kind of thing. And I watched this one video today where they were like, Buddha finger, and they were like making this connection to Butterfinger, and it was really crazy. But that's the Buddha finger right there. He uses this technique to defeat the villain, but learning that vengeance is not the Shaolin way, he lets him live. But then the villain kills himself with a great line where he goes, I am the devil, I deserve to die, and he like crushes his own fucking head. Oh my goodness. This movie was rather fun. I enjoyed it. So this is the copy that Bullseye Bob graciously sent me. I loved it. So starring Alexander Lo Ray, Shang Shan, William Yin, Lee Wei Yun, directed by Lee So Nam. It came out in 1983. This was a solid movie. It gave me vibes, a little bit of 8 Diagram Pole Fighter, which I thought was a superior film, but at the same time, the fighting in this was top notch. It was some of the best choreography and fighting, and even some of the best sound design with that I've seen in a while. Like, I think 36 Chamber of Shaolin is the epitome of choreography and sound design working together, but this is right up there with me. It does remind me a little bit of the plot of 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. That one had a little bit more drama, a little bit more nuance for me that like connected me to the main story, but there was enough in here. It used comedy to bring you in to the vibe. So I liked how it was playing with all those different things. I've seen some of these kung fu movies that have great action and don't have a good story and really misstep on the comedy, or at least in translation. I've seen movies that have funny bits, but kind of don't have the story or the choreography. I've seen 2 out of 3. This kind of works it all together. Could have a more hard-hitting story, but at the same time it works because they lean you in, they lead you in, lure you in, lull you in even. In other words that start with L, into caring about these characters through the comedy. And when it really starts happening, it happens. I do think it's a little cheesy at the end where, you know, when someone punches someone and like spit comes out or blood comes out of their mouth, it's fine. But in this one, it gets very excessive and everybody's like basically spitting up a half a fucking Sonic slushie every time they get hit in the third act of this movie. But that being said, I really liked the movie. I thought the music was pretty solid throughout. The actors did a pretty good job. Obviously, this was English dubbed, but I did not mind it. I still got into the movie. I would give this 4 ya digs out of 5. If you've seen Shaolin vs. Llama, what do you think? What do you rate it? I love the villain. I love the hero. I love the auxiliary characters. I like the comedy. I love the training bit. And I love when it does intensify with the drama. So I think this works really freaking well. And I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. All right, let's take a look out there in the chat. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Brother Joe says, Bullseye Bob, the best of the best. Hell yeah, he is the Eric Roberts of the batch, isn't he? Bob says, Shan Chang is one of my favorite Hong Kong cinema actors of all time, and he plays the villain in this movie. The fights with him in this movie are next level. I agree. Those are great. That's Shan Chang. Hell yeah. Like church or something. Hong Kong Shazam. I will smash to that, says Joram. Bob is cracking up at the wino chicken-eating mofo. He is. Bobby says, I gave the Buddha finger to the world a long time ago. Buddha be praised. Yeah, they do that a lot. That's fun because I see that a lot in Shaolin Cowboy, and I wonder if Shaolin versus Llama, because Jeff Darrow loves Hong Kong movies, and he loves Westerns, and Shaolin Cowboy is an amalgam of his love of both. Bob, do you read Shaolin Cowboy? You would love it. Jacques says, this is some knowledge being dropped by Sifu Robbie right here. Well, it all comes from my Sifu, Bullseye Bob. But that's the way it works, isn't it? I have a master, and we pass it down. Bob says, it's the fighting that makes this film what it is. Some of the best fights ever. I watch it 2 to 3 times a year at least. Fable says, I agree with your take. Chill Out Man says, top 3 favorite Kung Fu movies are 5 Deadly Venoms. Great movie. Deadly Venom and 5 Deadly Elements for me. I've only seen that first one. Are they all 5 Venoms movies? Because I want to watch more of those. Bob says, the next movie is Tai Chi Master from 93 starring Jet Li. I've got that one as well. We'll be doing that one in 2 weeks, I believe. Fable says, I got to watch it again to grade. It's been a while. Bob says, I love Shaolin Cowboy. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, we're actually running a little bit behind schedule. So, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like a Rockin Robbie Live. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back. Marvel in the 90s. My bad. Marvel in the 80s. And top 5 2005 movies. And also, y'all, you know we're totally talking Turtles tonight, y'all. Oh, my goodness. And Bob says the next Venoms movie is Crippled Avengers. You'll be watching that one soon. That being said, 5 Deadly Venoms was awesome. Invincible Shaolin was awesome. Bob, have I watched another Venoms movie? Have those been the only 2? Let me know. Chill Out Man says, Robbie, check out 5 Deadly Elements. It'll put hair on your chest. I want to get rid of hair on my chest. Anyway, what can I do to remove hair on the back and shoulders? Anyway, we'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live, y'all.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time. Feel the pain, live the grind. I could change, in my mind. Pick a lane, commit and climb. The only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers on a Sunday night, June 5th, 2022, to be specific. We're having a great old time tonight. This is the show where we talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We've had a great show already. We talked about our favorite comic books of last week. We looked ahead at what was coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek, and we talked about Shaolin versus Llama. Coming up, we got Marvel in the 80s, top 5 movies of 2005, and we're totally talking Turtles tonight, y'all. All that and more can appear on Rockin Robbie Live. Follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. Find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like our good homies right here, including HC, Station HC. Thank you so much for all the support. And you can do so with Super Chat. Every Super Chat at any amount is going to drop a Hellboy song. Because I'm feeling like that right now, y'all. Feeling good. We're having a great show. Don't worry. You ain't got to drop a Super Chat. All the support we need is a like, a share, a subscribe, and a participation award is given to people here in the chat. Rockin' Robbie Tour is coming to a town near you. We're going to be at Heroes Con, Charlotte, North Carolina, June 24th and 25th. Very excited for that. Grosse Point Blank on PCP Movie Night tomorrow night. That's at 8 p.m. Central Time. It is Crew's Choice. And this is Hammer Time Holshoe's pick, and it's a fantastic pick. Then we got a conversation with Rachel Pollack and Joe Corallo coming up on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Rachel and Joe have a new book coming out on Tuesday at Comixology. It's called The Never Ending Party. Dylan's Horror Show finally rolls on through with Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. That will be Saturday night.
Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
I see an Elektra remark there, and I see a Spider-Man one. And did you notice that John is referred to as Rex's buddy, but I'm just referred to as just Schlub Rockin Robbie? Jesus. Chill Out Man says, I so needed this stream before the work week starts. Thanks, PCP. Well, thank you, Chill Out Man. I need this before the work week starts. This tune made me want to do Kung Fu movies. Shaolin Monk in MMA kicking some ass. Dude, it's no joke. Oh, is there like an actual Shaolin Monk in the MMA? Is that what you're saying? Mike says, I'm a metalhead, but this break music is actually not bad. Hell yeah, I'm glad you like it. What do I do about ear hair problems? Can you use Nair? Asking for a friend. I tried, like in my early 20s, I tried using Nair on my... So every dude's got hair, probably every person, women too. Every man and woman on this planet has hair on their body they don't want. Somewhere. Mine is on my neck and shoulders. And I tried to Nair that shit one time. I do not recommend Nair at all. I don't have any suggestions, circumstances, as to what to do for ear hair for your friend. Because I don't have that problem. So, there you go. Now, nose hair is a different problem, but I use the nose hair a little bit. I have on one of my trimmers, I have a few trimmers, but on one of them, I got a nose hair trimmer attachment. That's what I do. So if it's ear hair coming from the inside of the ear, I would recommend that, I guess. But I don't actually, thankfully, that's not my problem. But I don't know what to do with my neck and back hair aside from go and get a haircut every fucking 2 weeks. But come on, y'all. That's a lot of money. Not me, dude. I manscape regularly, says Gus. Hell yeah. Nair's probably better on like legs or something, but it's not good. It was not good. I mean, like, it burned the fuck out of me and my shit was red forever. Now, it was goddamn smooth as a baby's bottom. But it was like I got a sunburn, man. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Comics are legitimate prized possessions. Hell yes, they are. Schlub rock, you know. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. It's time for my favorite bit. It's time for Marvel in the 80s. And today we're talking about X-Men 205. This is from 1986, I believe, Marvel's 25th anniversary. Uncanny X-Men 205 is what it's commonly referred to. This is a one-shot story written by Chris Claremont and Barry Windsor-Smith, with artwork by Barry Windsor-Smith, lettering by Tom Orzechowski. Now, all of the artwork is by Barry Windsor-Smith. Every single bit of it. The penciling, the inking, and the coloring. Now, what I'm showing you is going to be what it will look like if you get this on a screen or if you buy it in a modern-day reprint. I will be showing you the actual edition afterwards because the coloring doesn't quite come through as nuanced as it should, I think, in this, but it does still work. This story is about Lady Deathstrike versus Wolverine with Katie Power from Power Pack caught in the middle, which is interesting. This is totally a blame cartoonist kayfabe thing. I saw them do a video on this back in April, and I snatched it up as soon as I could. It came in the shop a few weeks later. I grabbed it. Starts off with Lady Deathstrike getting upgrades from Lady Spiral. Barry Windsor-Smith did all of this artwork. Don't worry, we'll show the original. It still does kind of work, but it does feel a bit... Here's the thing. We talk about this a lot. 80s coloring and 70s coloring in particular, and 60s. Like, coloring 80s and back was meant to be produced on newsprint. And it's different with the way they do it now. But the coloring in this book is amazing. The detail in the line work is amazing. And the designs are amazing. Now, this is something already right now we're looking at it. It's very reminiscent of Barry Windsor-Smith's Weapon X. And this is like 4 to 5 years before that. So we get this opening of Lady Deathstrike being upgraded with her own claws and shit. She has willingly chosen to do this with the, I think that's the Reavers that are with her. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe they're not. They call them something else. I can't remember what they call them. Maybe they're the Reavers. Anyway. So then we cut to this town. A brilliant coloring job on this cityscape. Great work there by Barry Windsor-Smith. And Katie Power is there. My bad. Maybe she grows up to be Katy Perry, but Katie Power is there from the Power Pack. And she's just doing some Christmas shopping. She's about to go caroling or some shit. This is a Christmas story, actually. So maybe we'll release this separately during Christmas time. But in the midst of going out there trying to be a caroler and spread holiday joy, she gets in the middle of this firefight, and all of a sudden she's confronted with Wolverine. Now, the story is called Wounded Wolf. It is written by both Claremont and Barry Windsor-Smith. So I love the credit given to Barry Windsor-Smith. And look at the line work. Look at all the snow. This is incredibly complex. And if you look at the cartoonist kayfabe video, they talk about how this would be a nightmare for any other colorist. And why would you ever do this to someone else? But Barry colored this himself. So she comes across Wolverine. He's not speaking. He's kind of like in this state of shock. He's been attacked by Lady Deathstrike and her posse, and he's kind of in this like post-berserker mode, and she grabs him and takes him into a cab, and they go away, but then all this attacks, they just keep happening, and Wolverine's trying to get away from it, but he's stuck with Katie Power, and eventually she brings him to this like sense of regaining his normal level of consciousness, right? And the artwork is amazing. The use of the color as part of the drawing. That's something Jim Rugg said. Now, I don't want to just keep riffing off of cartoonist kayfabe, but they know what they're talking about when they talk about these issues, and it was their discussion on this issue that made me really want to pick it up. And I had recently gotten back into Weapon X and reread that in my Wolverine omnibus, and I would love to get the originals now, but I did luckily get the Weapon X Gallery edition, which does reprint this with the colors produced on a better paper, so they come through a little bit better. But she takes Wolverine, they put him in a cab, and then Wolverine's instincts take over, throws Katie and the cab driver out. Right before they get attacked, the cab gets blown up, and Katie is in over her head. She's cursing the fact that she ever came across Logan. She doesn't know what's going on. This is supposed to be a hero, supposed to be your friend, but look at the bottom there. We got those red eyes. He's like berserker. He's ready to go. But she stops him. He lets out a roar, a scream. He's just in his tidy brownies right there. And the belt buckle looks a little weird, but we get the gig. But he comes to his senses. He starts realizing who he is. He's like, we got bad people after us. I'm going to take care of them. You close your eyes. He goes out there. He just starts slashing through these motherfuckers. Fan-fucking-tastic. And then an amazing fight sequence with Lady Deathstrike and Wolverine. And look how the coloring in the background, there's not a lot of background work, but there's a lot of foreground work with the line detail is not lacking at all in this book. But the backgrounds they're filled with nuance of these shades of colors changing. That really comes across better, I think, on newsprint. But look here at the way the color works there. Frickin' fantastic. But a great fight between Lady Deathstrike and Wolverine. He eventually overcomes her, guts her, takes her out, and he's like, look at you. Look at what you've become. Somebody did this to me. You asked for someone to do this to you. And that great final panel right there on this page. Oh, my goodness. But he's just looking at her, and he's like, you almost disgust me, right? Because, you chose this. And she's just looking so gnarly, and he doesn't kill her, even though she begs for it. He sheathes his claws, goes back to Katie, makes sure that she's safe, and they form a bond. And that's X-Men 205. So let's run through this artwork real quick again here. Color's going to be a bit more bold and garish here without the nuance or the gradients that it's supposed to have that we'll see on the newsprint that I will show you here in just a second. Let's run through this. If you look at the lack of backgrounds, but look at all the detail in the foreground, there is not a lack of weight on any of these pages. If anything, excessive use of backgrounds would actually hinder this book with as much detail is put into the front of it. Fable says, great prelude art-wise to the brilliance of Weapon X. Exactly. I even think Kayfabe mentioned that it was kind of like a prototypical Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X delivery. But a decent enough story. Stories, Katie Power, that whole bit could be taken out, but just the use of the innocent, I guess, is there. And I get that. So there's my issue that I picked up, I guess, a couple months ago. X-Men 205. The coloring comes through. If you notice, it's not as garish. It's got a little bit more subtlety to it. It doesn't appear as bold or garish. And the coloring on this and the printing on it is fucking phenomenal. This is one of those books. Even if you just want to collect just a handful of X-Men books, this is one I think you need to pick up. Now, I do want to get the Life Death 2 issues that he did with Storm and Forge. I haven't picked those up. I haven't read those in forever. But y'all, this is top-notch stuff. Highly detailed. A master of the game at this point. He's been drawing Marvel Comics since the fucking 60s. Great use of snow. This is something we're going to see in, say, you're picking up Sin City vibes here. Excessive use of snow, but like I said, it feels detailed and complex and dense with the line work, even with the lack of backgrounds, but those backgrounds are done with the color. He always has like cools in the background and warm colors in the foreground. It makes it pop even more. The coloring on this is fucking fantastic. This might be, in my opinion, one of the best colored Marvel comics of this era. I know that Ed and Jim like to talk about that John Romita Jr. Iron Man issue, which I have as well, and it's great. But y'all, the coloring on this, holy shit. There's so many colors and so many different variations of this 4-color method. And it works. Look at that. That's the best panel in the whole fucking issue. Look at the emotion, the rage that you see on Logan's face right there. It's nice to have this in a reprint, even with that Weapon X Gallery edition. That's nice. But nothing is like this motherfucker on newsprint. That's how I read it. This is not collected in the Wolverine Omnibus, but I wanted to add it in because it's a fantastic fucking issue. All in all, I would give that, I'll give it a 5. The story is not all there. The Katie Power thing's a little bit off, but whatever. That's just of its time. They were trying to boost up Power Pack. I'm going to give it a 5 because I think this is one of my favorite Barry Windsor Smith works I've ever fucking read. So that was X-Men 205. Go check it out. Get it on newsprint. Read it. And this has been Marvel in the 80s. Hell yeah. What a fucking fantastic. I wish I would have grabbed my Weapon X Gallery edition. The reprint on that is really good. It's really good. But it's not like getting this. And I think this is a very affordable issue. Nothing super major happens here. This may be the first time Lady Deathstrike's been upgraded to this level. But my knowledge on Weapon X history or X-Men history at this point is it's a little bit waning. This is when I was first getting into X-Men. John Romita Jr. and Dan Green were the typical art team. This was just kind of a one-off story. I fucking love it. I'm so glad to have this in my collection. This is a masterpiece. Now I got to try to hunt down every issue of Marvel Comics Presents with the Weapon X story. And I want to get the life-death story. What else did Barry? I know he did stuff back in the day, but this is prime era Barry Windsor Smith. Like, the best work he did probably was Weapon X, but this is right there. And the Gallery edition of Weapon X is so much better than the reprint of it in the Omnibus. That's a cool way to go about it. I know a lot of people don't care, but to me, when you see, like, a really fucking kind of bright blue, like, look at this opening page again here. Look at that. Look at the blue. Look at that magenta. Look at those dots. And then look how it comes across here. Do y'all see the difference that I'm talking about? Am I just crazy? Or does that look way better on newsprint? Looks cool there. I mean, I like the distinction. But that's what that was made to look like. Brilliant colorists knew what it would look like on newsprint, and they adjusted accordingly. Chill Out Man says, Wolverine is overused, but I'm a simp for 80s X-Men. Hell yeah. Oh my God, those old school M&Ms. Yeah, where's the M&M ad? Right there. Oh, I love the old ads in these books too. Sleepy Reader 666 says, wow, looks so good on the newsprint. Yes, it does. Oh my goodness. See, you know what I'm talking about. Bob from Everything Comics says, yeah, one of those few where they understood how to color well to take advantage of the newsprint medium. Love it. Hell yeah. Jacques says, I hope they release an Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 5. Gus says, Bueller had nice things to say about the store you own. Well, thank you. I don't own it. I'm just the store manager. Another cat owns it. His name is Edward Walls. But thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, we're back to 2022. Time travel. That's what we'd like to do is time travel, y'all. I was telling you how we were eating pizza out of old school 80s Domino's boxes, playing Mega Man and Batman on NES the other night. Brother, if you find extra issues of Weapon X, let me know. Brother, if you find extra issues of Weapon X, please let me fucking know. Cheap, though. I like them cheap and beat up. This is not too bad of a copy. If you put it under the light, it's got some issues, but for the most part, it's actually pretty good. It's got a lot of, like, wavering in here, but that's how I like them. I like to buy this shit for, like, $5 to $10. I don't like to spend more than $10 on a comic. I will do it, but I don't like to do it. Dominique says, just picked up the Barry Windsor Smith Machine Man trade paperback. Hell yeah. I've got the original issues to that, so that's something I've been planning to do for Marvel in the 80s. And don't think we've forgotten about Comics Revisited. That will be returning sometime soon. I had to skip a month on that. May get really busy. June's going to be really busy too, so we may skip a couple months on that. Bobby says his Machine Man limited series was great, and of course his old school Conan's. Yeah, like I said, I got that fucking Machine Man series. I got the trade of the Kirby Ditko stuff. More muted, better gradients. Exactly. The coloring is awesome. Hell yeah. We need an artist edition of Smith's work from this for real. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you do get a little bit of that, of some of his work on the Weapon X series in the gallery edition. Damien, have you gotten that gallery edition or seen it? I have to bring it in I'll have to bring it in. Fuck it. Station identification. I'm going to go grab it. And we're back. So this is the Barry Windsor Smith Wolverine Weapon X Gallery Edition. See the size difference. It reprints the entirety of the Weapon X story, as well as this issue and another like short story he did on Wolverine later on. But they actually take a little bit more care in reproducing the artwork closer to newsprint. It's a different type paper than you typically get in like an omnibus or an epic collection or a trade. It smells fucking amazing. But it does give you a certain vibrancy. But look, like in that bit, like that pink, that magenta pink or whatever would be like really more garish. So this is a really cool edition of it. And like I said, they do reprint. Oh my God, look at that. Like just to show you the way they care about the coloring on this. Really solid stuff. And they do reprint 205 in a much better way than they would in an omnibus. You see how the magenta and the blue there are a little bit different. Now, it doesn't quite capture the bleed of newsprint, but it does sink the color in a little bit better. So it's probably the most clear, because newsprint has its faults as well as making certain lines double thick or kind of, you know what I'm saying? But the coloring on this is actually really, really well. And then at the tail end of it, it's obviously not a full-on artist edition, but you do get like the original art, including every mistake and detail and paste up and everything. For some selected pages from Weapon X. I don't think they have any. Yeah, they don't have any from 205. But this as close as to an artist edition I think we've gotten, unless they've done one, I don't know. And then some original pieces. Just, this is a must-have. Now, it's already, I believe, out of print. So if you find it, snatch it the fuck up before Cartoonist Kayfabe does a video. And I know they will. Because I was already planning on getting this, and Jim Rugg sent me over the thing when he posted on his socials about it. William says, Barry Windsor Smith did a Iron Man issue set after Armor Wars. Great issue to get. Yeah, I may have a couple of those. I need to make sure I get them all. Sleepy Reader says, yeah, I have the Gallery Edition. I think those are a great format. Also love the Warlock Gallery Edition. Hell yeah, I haven't gotten the Warlock one. But yeah, even looking at that now, it's way better on newsprint. Way better. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? The lines are a bit softer, so it's nice to get a solid line. Because on that Cartoonist Kayfabe video, he showed it from the Essential X-Men, where it's just the line work, just the ink work, and it looks completely different there, too. But yeah, you don't get this kind of nuance in the background especially. And my favorite sequence, as far as background coloring in this whole thing... Where is it? Too far. Right there. The way it kind of gradients from sky blue into purple. And then on the next page, it does the reverse, and then it does it again. That's a really cool effect that's very subtle that you do pick up subconsciously when you read these things. Comic Pizza's in the house. What is up? What is the most you have spent on a comic? The most I have spent on a comic is $400. And I think you can all know which one that is. And I got a really good deal. Beyond that, the most is like probably $50-$60. I don't like, that's it. $50-$60 is like the most I'll spend on something if I really want it. So when I get like, but one I did spend $400 on, but is worth a lot more than that right now. Hell yeah. All right, time to talk about movies in 2005. Y'all, I could talk about this shit all day long, but when you hear me talk about color reprints of classic work and how it's better on newsprint, this is prime example. Even when they do it right, they don't quite nail it. But it's okay. They did a really great job on this one. But you're right. We need a Barry Windsor Smith artist edition of all of his X-Men work. Bob says it's got to be your FF5. I wonder. Oh, I'm lying. I have spent 100 on one or two. But yeah, 400 is the most I've ever spent. Billy says, Jim Mint, sup, dude? Did he pop back in? Did I miss him? He was here earlier. He's getting ready to move out, man. He's going across country. I think Michigan? It's either Michigan or Minnesota. I don't fucking remember. He's going somewhere. Ronald's in the house. What's up, Ronald? Dude, I got your, it's right there. The Pop Culture Philosophers banner. I got to put it up there and cover up the death metal. I need to do that. Thank you for being here. It's time to talk about movies from the year 2005. In fact, what's your top 5 favorite movies of 2005? Let's get into the conversation, y'all. First up, honorable mentions from 2005. And some of these movies may have been released early 2006. But they were listed as 2005 movies. That's what we're going with. Honorable mentions, we got Rent, Chris Columbus. I really like this. They take most of the original cast of the Broadway production, put it cinematically. It's not the best representation. They missed some key pieces, but it does work for me. Sin City, love that movie. Been rediscovering my love of Sin City lately. Land of the Dead, it's got its problems, but it was the first and only George A. Romero film I ever saw in theaters. Damn, I'm gassy. Holds a special place in my heart. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a fantastic movie with Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. History of Violence is another great Cronenberg film and a great comic book adaptation. And Walk the Line, the life story of Johnny Cash, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Loved it. At number 5, I've got V for Vendetta. Regardless of what Alan Moore wants, they've done some pretty decent adaptations of his work. V for Vendetta is probably the best. I really like this film. I love the book. The film is different. We discussed those differences in our Comics Revisited episode we did on V for Vendetta. But I love both, including this movie. At number 4, Hostel. I know a lot of people don't like torture porn. Nobody likes torture. A lot of people don't like torture porn. I like torture porn. I like Eli Roth. I love Hostel. We talked about this on Dylan's Horror Show. We did a whole thing about Eli Roth's entire career. But Hostel to me is a movie that works. Just like Shaolin versus Lama. Worked because they brought us into caring about the characters through comedy and then started killing those characters off and led us down this path of more melodrama. Hostel does that, but with leading us down a path of more horror. It's a great film. At number 3, The Producers. I love this. Mel Brooks, his first movie he ever directed was The Producers. It was a great film. Then they turned that into a musical. Then they did a movie version of the musical, and it works so much. I love Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick in this role. Uma Thurman does a great job too, but this works for me. If you want to hear more about my love of The Producers, check out the Mel Brooks podcast, available right now in an unedited video version exclusive to patreon.com PCP supporters. At number 2, Hustle and Flow. This movie hit me right at this time. I was trying to pursue a career in music. I was pursuing a career in hip-hop, and this movie hit at the exact right time. I was poor. I was living with 2 other friends. I was living more than paycheck to paycheck. I was living from like, I don't know, like when you like overdraft fee to overdraft fee. Let's just say that. And this movie hit me in such a powerful way, and it still does, and I love the soundtrack. Plus, this is the movie. This movie is the reason 3 6 Mafia can be referred to as Academy Award winners. At number 1, Batman Begins. Come on, y'all. This is my favorite Batman movie of all time. Might be my favorite comic book adaptation of all time. That or Blade. Like, Batman Begins to me is a perfect movie. It grounds Batman into a realism that is inherent in Batman's early years. It gets more preposterous as Batman's career goes, but stepping back to the very beginning, Christian Bale did an amazing job. I loved Ra's al Ghul with Liam Neeson, but the switch between Ducard and him, they got me. They totally fooled me in this one. I really love this movie. I think it's my favorite Batman movie. So 2005, honorable mentions: Rent, Sin City, Land of the Dead, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, History of Violence, Walk the Line. At number 5, V for Vendetta. At number 4, Hostel. At number 3, The Producers. I wanna be a producer. At number 2, Hustle and Flow. Keep hustling, keep flowing. It ain't over for me. It ain't over for me. Whoop that trick. What? Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. And at number 1, Batman Begins. It's not what I say that matters, but what I do that counts. That's my top 5 favorite movies of 2005. What are yours? Yo, we're rolling, man. That's what you guys call it, torture porn. I always thought it was foreplay, scratching my head. And Chill Out Man says, Robbie, I told you was gangsta back in the day. I saw that earlier. You mentioned that you were watching some of my earlier videos, and we got more professional. Well, thank you. We hit a certain level of professionalism, then we just stop. That's what we do here at PCP. We hit a certain point, we stop. We make leaps every 3 years. All right. Mike says, I spent $5.15 on a slabbed Werewolf by Night 32 for about 3 to 4 years ago. Most I spent on one book. Worth it. Now is like really prime. I think now it's probably hit its peak, right? 50 grand on Batman 89. Bad move, Billy. Bob says, top movies of 2005. Batman Begins, Green Street Hooligans, Lord of War, Goblet of Fire, and Four Brothers. William says, Batman Begins, The Descent, Corpse Bride, Constantine, Lady Vengeance, a.k.a. Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. Bobby says, Sin City's the number 1 movie of 2005 because it smelled like angels ought to smell. Thank you. Mark says, one I enjoyed was Zathura. I remember seeing that all the time when I worked at the movie stores, but I never watched it. What's up, Jay? How you doing? Zach says, Batman Begins, Serenity, V for Vendetta, History of Violence, and The Descent. Fable says, V for Vendetta, History of Violence, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Batman Begins, and Wedding Crashers. Mike says, Batman Begins, Serenity, 40-year-old version, Kingdom of Heaven. I almost put Kingdom of Heaven on my list. I love that fucking movie. I did put it on my wish list on Amazon because I don't have it anymore. Constantine and V for Vendetta and Sin City. Hell yeah. Robbie, you have a better voice than Christian Bale. Well, thank you. Byman says, Batman Begins for me. Zach says, honorable mention to Advent Children. Hell yeah, y'all. Some great lists, and don't forget that we're totally absolutely talking turtles tonight.
Heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
So last week we started totally talking turtles. Tonight we covered episode 1, Turtle Tracks. Tonight it's episode 2, Enter the Shredder. Starts off with the turtles waking up. April shows up to the turtles' lair and wakes them up and is like, yo, we got to get to business, because they just found out about the mystery of the Shredder and the Foot Clan and everything. They were in that building and they had that big flood. This is the very next day. I love the continuity of this series, at least the first season, because it's like a 5-episode miniseries basically. And one of my favorite bits here is that when Raphael wakes up, he grabs his turtle mask and puts it on like it's his glasses or something, right? So they got to wake, they got to practice, then they eat. It's a great moment when Leo's like, before we eat, we practice. They practice Michelangelo needs to learn patience. That's a little bit different than the comics. Now, Michelangelo's never been the best fighter, but Raphael's the one that has to learn patience. Then they go have breakfast. And what do they eat? Cereal. Breakfast cereal on top of pizza, of course. So they decide with April to go out and investigate where this Technodrome is. So they go and they find this big place, carved out cave. They don't know where to go. Follow the fucking tracks. Anyway, we then cut to the Technodrome. We see it in its full glory. Shredder is inside. He's bitching about how he can't take out the turtles. To some brain creature, it's Krang. So this is the first appearance of Krang in the animated series. A lot different than the comic book. Krang is one individual. He's completely, ultimately evil. He gives Shredder the bright idea, if you want to defeat mutants, make your own. So then we cut to the turtles. They go back. Splinter decides, let me go help you. I'll use my rat senses to help you discover the Technodrome. Meanwhile, 2 robots come up into the zoo. They steal a warthog and a rhino. I think we know where this is going. Splinter then and the turtles come across, and April's left at this point. She's up top trying to convince her news organization that she's got a story. They don't believe her. They come across this big batch of rubble. Splinter decides he's going to split off from the Ninja Turtles. He can get through the rubble. They need to go up top, find April. Meanwhile, Shredder goes and they go to the gang from the first episode, and they're like, I need 2 volunteers. We're going to make you more powerful than ever. And he comes across these 2 suckers who we know will become Bebop and Rocksteady. Then the turtles are upstairs or above ground. They're in disguise. This is one of my favorite bits. They're wearing glasses and they're dressed up in these ridiculous jackets and they're doing dancing with a boom box. And it's where did y'all get these clothes, turtles? Did you steal them? Do you just have these bits ready? Anyway, they find, April tells them about the zoo kidnapping, if you will. They go there. They follow the path down. They find the Technodrome. Meanwhile, Splinter has found it, has been captured by Splinter. So they go in there and Shredder puts them through a gauntlet. They have to fight all these different robots. They beat them totally. They're fine. But then they go across the Foot Clan and Bebop and Rocksteady. They take them out and then escape with Splinter up above ground. But Bebop and Rocksteady follow them. And then they attack the turtles. But the turtles easily fool them into going into the cage. And they shut the gate. And Michelangelo, who is my favorite turtle, has a great bit here, right? Where he goes, dumb, dumb, dumb. Those guys are so dumb. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. They don't confront the Shredder. They don't get into Krang, but they do get into building up more of the lore of the Turtles. I'm loving this show. Having recently read all of the Eastman and Laird influenced Turtle comics from the original Mirage run, I like the differences. They actually do make it work for a kid audience. We were talking about Usagi Yojimbo earlier. I can imagine if I was a 40-year-old that was into Turtles comics watching the animated series, I would be disappointed at how kidified it was. But being a kid in 87, in second grade, watching this at 7 o'clock in the fucking morning every day, I loved it. Blew my mind. Great introduction. Bebop and Rocksteady, fantastic introductions into the lore and mythology of the Turtles, and the integration of Krang as this being who wants to have a body, and he's got this weird shaky relationship with Shredder, and he wants to get to Dimension X, and we have this promise of this army, and it keeps building up. We were talking about with the X-Men bit that we were doing, we went through all of season 1 of X-Men, the animated series. We were talking about how this was like the first cartoon that had like a really locked in sense of continuity. That's not necessarily true. We have that in other things. Transformers comes to mind, of course, but so does Turtles, at least in these first few episodes, this first miniseries. It was awesome. What are your recollections of Ninja Turtles from back in the day? I want to know, because we are totally talking Turtles tonight.
Heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
Dumb, dumb, dumb. Those guys are so dumb. I fucking love it. Bayman says Batman Begins for me. Hell yeah, we said that, all right. Jay says Revenge of the Sith, King Kong, Land of the Dead, The Devil's Rejects, and Longest Yard. Hell yeah. Billy says 2005, Thank You for Smoking. Albert says Revenge of the Sith, War of the Worlds, V for Vendetta, Batman Begins, Sin City. Great movies. I really like that War of the Worlds movie, actually. I loved this tune as a kid. Hell yeah. I do have the blimp. I haven't opened it yet. We'll do that one day, but thank you so much, Taki, for the super chat. 41 short and 4 long boxes. Whew. Great show. Well, thank you so much, bro. Really do appreciate it. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit, everybody. Now he fights with the man who's a fish named Abe. Come on. Now he fights with the fire named Liz, and an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. PPRD. Thank you so much for that, Taki. One more Hellboy song for everybody tonight. We really do appreciate that. Now it's time for show and tell. Let's see here. Zach says, Turtles, Gargoyles, and Beetlejuice were my jam. Hell yeah. Jay says the Sphere movie sucked. Albert says, I love that TMNT animated series. Hell yeah. All right. Got a belated birthday present from my man Brooks when he came over for the game night. He gave Jelani the Black Panther from this series, but it's from the Avengers Mech Strike Monster Hunters line. He got me the Doctor Doom figure because he knows that's one of my favorite characters. Interesting design on Doctor Doom, so that's cool. Thank you so much, Brooks. Appreciate that. What else we got here? So my Astro Train, we've seen it in robot mode. We've seen it in the alt mode for the shuttle. And now I put it in the train mode. Very long train. Pretty freaking cool. I am pleased with the Astro Train Transformer. I've been putting all my Transformers in their alt modes. Just having fun. A couple weeks or whatever. So I did Soundwave today. And I actually did Soundwave by memory. So that was cool. Got Ravage inside. There's Laserbeak right there. Last week, I opened up the Blaster figure. And today I transformed Blaster. So there you go. I got these were like my two favorite Transformers when I was a kid. So just like the Turtles in that episode. Boom, 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 bat, boom, boom, bat. Eject was in there. He was already a cassette. I transformed him into his robot mode. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So there's Transformers that I've transformed. Now we're going on to the kayfabe effect. So they had been recently doing this thing where they were going through this book that was a conversation between Frank Miller and Will Eisner. Well, I have not gotten that book because it's a little pricey. But as they were doing that, I was thinking, I need to build my Will Eisner library. I have read stuff like Contract with God, and I've read stuff before, but I've never really dived fully in or had and owned it. But when they did their video on Contract with God recently, they had this Contract with God trilogy. So I went ahead and picked it up. So I got that. So it has Contract with God, Life Force, and Dropsy Avenue. This is great stuff, y'all. Contract with God is arguably the first graphic novel. Some people like to go back and forth with the definitions of what's what. But regardless, if you're going to pick up a Will Eisner book, this might be the one. This is close to being unavailable, so pick it up when you can. It's pretty dope. You know, we love Hellboy and the BPRD. Well, I completed my BPRD trade paperback collection, those big trade paperbacks, because I did finally buy the 1946 through 1948, and I have The Devil You Know, which just came out. I believe this completes it. I think I have them all now. I do have to verify that, because I think there's fucking Vampire. I don't have that one. I have the 4 Hell on Earths. I have the 4 Plague of Frogs. Have The Devil You Know. Have 1946 to 48. Is there another one? I think that's it for BPRD. I think. Transformer-wise, I picked up Silver Streak right there. The column, is this Blue Streak? No, that's Silver Streak. I get confused between Smokescreen, Silver Streak, and Blue Streak. What the fuck ever. But I got them. So that's dope. We'll open that up one day. And here's another cartoonist kayfabe thing. So fans of their channel put together one time this Wizard magazine, because they got their start on YouTube covering Wizard magazines. They just released a new episode. That was awesome. So I missed out on that, but they promised they're doing a second print. But they did do a Wizard magazine number 2. And it's fucking huge, and I picked it up. So this is the Wizard magazine. inspired by cartoonist kayfabe. It's like a modern day Wizard, but look how big that is. It's thick. It's filled with original comics, original articles. You can get it at Cosmic Lion Productions. Tons of original artwork and comics. Palmer comes back to do like Palmer's Picks. It is where this image comes from, and I'm thinking about taking this with me to Heroes Con to get Ed and Jim to sign that. Jim even did a little design bit about some of his favorite how to make comics books right there. But y'all, tons of cool articles and original comics in that cartoonist kayfabe vein. Lots of content here. Oh my goodness. This was fucking awesome. I'm so glad I got to pick that up. That's going to be extremely limited. Also with it, I got this cool fucking sticker of the cover. I got this Cosmic Lion production sticker as well. I got this mini comic for Cosmic Cat. I looked through this. It looks fucking awesome. So I'm excited to dive into that. There's a postcard done by Jim Rugg. I love that. Hellboy looking at comics back in the 50s, pre-code comics. And then I got this note. It seems personalized. Thank you so much for your order and your continued support. Hope you dig it. Fuck yeah. So, Wizard, the comics magazine, number 2. And as soon as they announce a reprint of number 1, I'm going to fucking get it. But this is worth it, y'all. Where's Palmer's Picks? Look at that shit. Bruh, I'm so excited. I'm such a fucking mark. I'm such a fan. Look at all the content. Oh my goodness. They get interviews. Jeff Manley. Rick Veitch. Dan Panosian. Oh, it's people talking about them. I see. Ed Piscor Artist Edition. Page 16. Page is numbered? Looks like early stuff from him. That's dope. Maybe that's new stuff. I don't know. Where's Palmer's Picks? Oh, there's a dope Alan Moore checklist. It's like handwritten. Palmer's Picks is on page 236. There's like over 400 pages of this. There it is. Palmer's Picks, y'all. It's back. How fucking dope. How fucking dope is that? Yeah, you turned me on to their show and I saw Contract with God 1 and I freaking love them. Yeah, they're dope. That Wizard book looks awesome. It is awesome. How dope would it be if they offered a Red Room 1/2 issue with the Wizard and a Street Angel 1/2? They need to do that. That's great. Fable says Blue Streak is Silver Streak in Japan and vice versa. Doesn't make any sense. Bring on Blitzwing. Yeah, I know. Got too many Transformers on the way. Stop saying Candyman. Shit. Anyway, that's show and tell. It now brings us to the final bit of the segment. Did he say final? Those in the know are in the know. It's time for the Final Five. I hit the wrong button, went from final to first. Anyway, going through the Blu-ray collection, The Shining. Love this movie. We've covered this on PCP Movie Night. Shivers, which is a earlier film from David Cronenberg. I have since watched this. Holy shit. We should cover that one time. More Wes Craven. We got Shocker. Come on, y'all. And then Silent Night, Deadly Night. I love this fucking movie with Linnea Quigley. I love Linnea Quigley. Can't wait to meet her again this year. And then Silent Night, Deadly Night number 2, which I do have with the slip. So that means I get to have both covers. Because both covers on all of these are always super cool. That's why you want to have the slip. And this has been your... Where's the button? Let me get the button right here. I got too many buttons and shit set up. Anyway, this has been your... Final Five. All right, y'all. That is the show. Join us next week. We got even more fun bits for you on Rockin Robbie Live. We will be live again next Sunday night. But before that, join us tomorrow night for PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time, Grosse Point Blank. Join us Thursday night, 6 p.m. Central Time, for a conversation with Rachel Pollack and Joe Corallo. They got a new book out from Comixology Originals this Tuesday called The Neverending Party. Dylan's Horror Show, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. And then don't forget, for tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central.
Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
And we appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much all for joining us. We are dipping out. Y'all remember, wherever you go, there you are. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes, and love everybody and love what you love and think about why you love what you love. And above all, station. Pop, pop, boom!
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about. Have your fucking cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round. Bitch, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big boss, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Hey everyone, it's Rex over at Dynamic Forces. Join us this Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on The Experience with me, Rockin Robbie, and my buddy John for comic talk and some great slab comics, signed comics, and cover sketch art by Ken Hazer and others. So join us Monday night, 6 to 8.
All right. So I showed off my sound, my bad. I showed off my blaster. I don't have a sound blaster. So showed off my sound wave and my blaster. And obviously I love these fucking Transformers so much. Let's put blaster there. Sound wave. Open him up. Inside of him, this is Ravage. This is Laserbeak. And we opened up, or we transformed Eject. So there you go, right? I love these little tape fuckers so much. I saw this on a Blame Fable, but a while ago I picked up Ratbat and, is this Rumble? Rumble and Ratbat. Some told me that's Tumble. But anyway, they've been here on card forever. We're going to open them up. Fucking open them. Open them. Who cares what it's worth? Open them. Open them. All right. There they are. Really? These fuckers are goddamn... They're not even twisty tied in, you know, of course. God damn it. I gotta cut them out. Got my handy tool. There's 3 little bands on Ratbat. That's ridiculous. It ain't going nowhere. So there's Ratbat. Fucking dope. I got to get as many of these as I can. There's some more. This one looks like it might be rather simple. Well, maybe not. Those go down that way. I don't know what to do with the hit. All right, we'll figure that out later. We got Rumble in here. Just tell me that I can. All that in effects music sounds like I would have made it. That's why I like using it so much. I really respond to those lyrics. All right, there's Rumble. Right there. Rumble and Rat Bat. Let's pop this fucker back open. Just tell me that I can't. Blame Fable. Thank you for letting me know these exist. I needed them. There are more? I want every goddamn one of them. Every goddamn one of them. Hope you all have a great week. That's right, everybody. Rockin Robbie Live post credits. Dedicated. Never break. Always fight. Never quit. Do it right. Play the game. Win it life. Have no shame. There's no time. Feel the pain. Live the grind. I can change. In my mind. Pick a lane. Commit and climb. The only way to win it life. I never miss that fact. Taking big swings, hand me the back. Put me in the ring, go out in the back. I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. Let the red pill. I know life's short and I live real, but how's it supposed to feel? Everybody throw it up. PCP Army in the house. How's it supposed to feel? It's supposed to feel like motherfucking this. Every Sunday night, RRL.
How's it supposed to feel?
How's it supposed to feel? That's right. Yo, they want to say my name.
They wanna say
my name, but they hold it back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games. I just do this fact, and I don't feel no shame. It's a mood that I go crazy. Nah, bitch, I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right up, you got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've been visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath. I'd rather lead than be led. I'll feel the seeds as I spread with every word that I've said. Proof to those motherfuckers that the PCP Army ain't lazy. Throw out your likes, throw out your chat. Come on. Yo, how's it most the motherfucking feel? That's right, everybody. How's it supposed to feel like this right here? All right. Mike likes to bring me new snacks so I can taste test them live on the streams here in the post credits. And today we got these new Pringles, limited a time only, Chipotle Ranch Wavy Pringles. I've been holding on to these for a few days. Ready to try them out? Pop, pop. How do you fucking open Pringles? Jesus, there you go. Okay. Smell fine. Chipotle, I like. Ranch, I like. So let's see. Okay. Not bad. First of all, Pringles Wavy are way heartier and crispier, crunchier than regular Pringles. I don't know if I've ever had a Pringles Wavy. I had 2 stacked because that's what I'm used to. So let me just try one. Okay. First taste is ranch. Nice. Heat comes up. But if the heat could be here, the heat goes. Now, for other people, it may go. But for me, it goes. But it's got that smoky chipotle. It does its job. It's a nice, hearty chip. It's got crunch to it. It's got a little bit of that chipotle after effect. It's got a little tiny bit of heat to it. Ranch at first, then it builds into that, just how it would be. I like it. 4.5, you digs. 4.5, you digs. And that is how it's supposed to feel.